2 west between exits 2 and 3. Right lane is closed until 3:30. Plainville 84 east between 33 and 36. That's right in center lanes until 3:30. And so far, we're in fairly decent shape on the 95 corridor. Looks like the backups begin down there northbound in the Westport area between exits 17 to Bridgeport and exit 24. Let's head over to the WTIC Weather Center. Check in with meteorologist Jason Catarina.
Partly sunny for the rest of our Friday afternoon, the high of 41. Partly cloudy, cold tonight, the low back to 28. Now Saturday, it'll be cloudy and breezy. We'll get a touch of rain in the afternoon. They'll have a bit of that damp, raw, chilly feel with the high 45. Saturday night, a little snow and rain early in the evening, cloudy, the low down to 30. Now Sunday is going to be a mess. We'll start out with some sun, then it turns cloudy. We'll get some snow late in the afternoon. The high of 38 during the afternoon. Then Sunday night, colder with 3 to 6 inches of snow, so expect rapidly worsening travel conditions during the evening and overnight. The low down to 13. Mostly sunny and breezy Monday. Watch for slick travel in the morning. The high only 22. It'll be the beginning of a prolonged cold wave. Tuesday, frigid, sunshine, a few clouds, the high 19.
You're a glutton for punishment.
Bitterly cold on Wednesday.
I really am.
16. Then Thursday, not as cold, the high up to 26. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, we have more clouds than sun out there. It's 38 in Hartford. On Wall Street.
Me and Matt call it degenerate behavior.
Oh, that it is.
290 and the S&P's up 59. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I wish I'd gotten
1 minute.
child dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today. And stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition. It's fully treatable. And at Northeast Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will
Michael
be a
B.,
thing
what's
of
up,
the
baby?
past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll also likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Northeast Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices: Salem, New Hampshire, Dedham, Marlborough, Woburn, Farmington, Connecticut. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Today is the last day you're going to hear it like this, bro.
Okay.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
What's wrong with being an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Do you want to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times.
Then grab it!
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're gonna hear about it.
Hey now, what's going on out there, you scallywags and nutmeggers all across the fruited plain? It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. It is the last Friday before everything changes and it goes nuts. The news media goes nuts. The anarchists go nuts. The leftists go nuts, and that's it. Donald Trump will be inaugurated, immaculated, inoculated, whatever it is. It's going to happen on Monday at noon. There is some downside to this. I know people are upset. It's unfortunate that it will be inside. It won't be outside. And I know why people are wringing their hands about that. Let me just get this out of the way. If there's one thing that many on the right or MAGA folks wanted was to show out on Monday. A sea of red, a sea of MAGA supporters, as far as the eye could see this time, rivaling that of the 2017 campaign, rivaling that of the 2017 inauguration. But you don't get to do that. Impregnated. We don't get to do that because it's going to be quite cold outside. And I'm not going to lie, it happens every January 20th, and the weather's not always forgiving, and it won't be. Okay, that's cool. But there's a little bit of history involved in this. The last time an inauguration was held indoors due to the weather, it was because it was the inauguration, or for that matter, the re-election inauguration of Pop himself, Ronald Wilson Reagan. And the parallels couldn't be more obvious. I couldn't believe it when I heard it this morning. I was like, oh yeah, how wild is that? How wild is that? And you're right, Michael B. I feel like this is, again, I don't believe in anything as far as coincidences are concerned. Michael B. says we need him inside. We need that man safe. That's right. I don't believe in coincidences at all. I believe that there was a plan. Yeah, let's get him on inside. God sitting up there on high. Let's make it cold out there. Let's freak out Al Gore. I say that tongue-in-cheek because the left gets angry whenever you once you start talking about God and Jesus Christ, they go nuts. Why do you always think everything's about God? Because it drives you heathens nuts. You heretics. I love it. God was sitting up there. I need to protect my child. He blew that Arctic wind on D.C. just to bring him inside. Protect my son. But that wasn't what the monologue was about. News happened, so I have to cover it. Let's get to it. We have to say goodbye to this man. That man right there, Joe Biden. And look, it's over. He had a good run. That was the whole purpose of him becoming a senator in the first place back in the 70s, was because he wanted to become a president one day, and he got his shot. It was later in life, and his legacy will be tarnished by it. We'll get into that. The New York Times has an article, which, by the way, confirms yours truly. Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden having a meeting on July 13th about him. That's interesting. We'll get into that. Okay, but stand by. We'll get into all of that in a little bit. But we have to say goodbye to old Joe. We have to say goodbye to him properly. And I thought that this send-off was appropriate. Joe Biden was accused and, in fact, found guilty by a court of censoring our free speech. We know that. Joe Biden was violating our constitutional rights, told us that freedom did not matter. While they were screaming and hollering about fascism, they were behaving that way during COVID and beyond. You remember it. I remember it. And I thought this movie captures Joe Biden's administration. And its farewell is perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along with me as we say so long, farewell to Joe Biden.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell.
Wow.
Goodbye. Absolutely goodbye. And to be honest, that's the last we need to talk about him today. This Friday, it's the last we ever need to talk about Joe Biden, the administration, and all that. It's over in 2 days. And we go into a new era. And trust me, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. We're going to demand the things that we wanted of this administration yesterday. But that's what it should be about. That's what it should be about. We should fight hard for the things that were promised us. And this administration, we know we will get answers from. We know that at least the people who are going to be in those roles are going to be somewhat competent. And if they are not, oh, baby, they know they are hurting a legacy of future Republicans if they do not. White Mike says the extreme cold will keep Antifa home. Black pre-ripped skinny jeans aren't warm. That's absolutely right. Black Lives Matter won't be out either. None of them will be out. So it'll be an interesting last 2 days for the administration. We'll see what else happens. I'm sure they'll do something to keep themselves in the limelight. But I don't know. It's just time to go. It's time to go. Now, on some other business beforehand, I want to say this. Okay, so I've inspired, and this is what I have to say. I love the fact that I was able to inspire this. And so I want to give myself and two good friends of mine a round of applause. Because I would have never thought these two individuals would have ever thought of it. But they are probably going to be the most interesting people to join this medium. And that is my good friends, Apple and Dave. They are starting husband and wife. They've been together for years. They have two beautiful children, Abby and Gunnar. They are former military. And they are just absolutely vocal people. Every time I go to their house, I've spent years with them. Apple and I have known each other for a little more than 5 years, Dave as well. We've become good friends. I consider Apple one of my best friends in the world. She's great friends with my wife. They're kind of family to us. But they called me today before the show, and they said, can you fly out here? Can you fly out tonight? Because we have 2 extra tickets to go somewhere on Sunday. And I'm like, where are you going on Sunday? I'm paraphrasing how the conversation went. And they are going to the pre-inaugural ball in Washington, D.C. And I'm so happy. So here's what makes the whole story great. A day before that, 2 days ago, Apple calls me, it may have been even yesterday, called me and said, you know what? Dave and I are going to start a podcast. I'm like, really? You're going to start a podcast? We're like, yeah, we're going to start a podcast. We don't know the name, and we don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to start to film it first and do everything. And so this falls into their lap. I told you there's no such thing as a coincidence. These tickets fall into their lap, and they're going to the inaugural ball. They are going to be there with Kid Rock, with the Village People, while we say goodbye to the Village Idiots. And they're going to take videos, they're going to take pictures, and then they're going to come on Reese on the radio on Monday, on Inauguration Monday, and share with us what they saw, who they met with. We'll even share their pictures, see if they took a picture with somebody cool. Maybe there'll be, I don't know, an Ivania picture. Hopefully there will be an Ivania picture, or Alina Habba, or some beautiful blonde that's coming into the administration will be there. But nonetheless, they're going to call in and talk about it, and we're going to debut, if you will, their podcast, which is appropriately titled Prepare to Unfriend, which I think is a fantastic name. I was going to call it David Apple Save the World, but when she told me her title, I said, no, you got to go with that one. Prepare to Unfriend. So we'll debut their show on Monday, and they'll talk to us about the inaugural ball and all the people who were there, who they took pictures with, how much fun they had. And it's going to be I can't wait to hear how much fun they had. I wish I could go. With those 2 extra tickets, I should have gotten on a plane, but it's just too busy here. It's unfortunate that I can't go, because trust me, under normal circumstances, I would. It's an airing of grievance Friday, so don't forget to give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We've also got some recorded airing of grievances and a very nice, I can't even call it an airing of grievance. It was a nice voicemail that somebody left me, so we'll play that as well. I got an interesting email at reeseontheradio.com that I thought was funny, and it's a question about the drones, which I thought was interesting, and I want to share that with you as well. I've got stuff on the LA fires, which I thought was interesting. Misinformation and disinformation seems to be the go-to for leftist politicians when they can't be held accountable. And we'll give you an example of that when we come back. In fact, I think roughly about the 4 o'clock hour. The 4 o'clock, at 4:05, the stupidest thing I read today is pure evil. When you hear exactly what this is, it's going to blow your mind. But it's an article that I saw today. To be honest with you, I feel like today, tell me if you feel this. And if you got this feeling, give me a call, 860-522-WTIC. Why is it that this weekend feels more like the end of 2024 than December 31st? Is that me? I mean, am I so involved in this political stuff that this feels like the end of a year? It's like, like there's an era ending. Because that's the way I felt for when New Year's was coming up, it felt like Wednesday. But for some odd reason, this past couple of days, I really feel like this is the real end of the year. And it's an overwhelming feeling. I almost feel like I've psyched myself into this, which is crazy. I've got some other stuff. Let me just preview, because my monologue wasn't all that long. So let me preface or preview some of the stuff I need to get into today. In the next break, we're going to be talking from Mark from West Hartford, who has a very, very troubling story that may break news after Mark breaks it. But this was a crazy story today about the schools. As you know, I've been talking about our school system for the longest in and around the country. And it is a really, really crazy time in our schools. And this story is bizarre in so many ways. And I'm starting to notice that there is a real active, or there's a real effort to protect evildoers in the state of Connecticut, and particularly when it comes to students, children. And I'm not understanding it. I don't know if it's political. I don't know if it's deviance. I'm not really sure. But this story that Mark in West Hartford is going to share with us today is going to make you angry. And Simsbury Joe brought this up when talking about Congress a couple of weeks ago. I won't say it was about a week ago, talking about how Congress wanted to protect pedophiles and people who hurt children. And it is not being pushed back against by constituents in any way, which is, again, really bothersome. It's troublesome. I know that the news media isn't reporting on it, but I'm not understanding why that's not happening. And don't get me wrong. Let me frame it this way. Connecticut is not New York. So the news is not like other news in other places, right? You've got the excitement. You got bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Somebody died slow. You got intrigue and corruption and all that other stuff. So Connecticut is a very laid-back attitude on these things. So the stories that they talk about, and I look at the headlines every day. I got a subscription to the Current. Every time I read it, it seems like everybody's overwhelmed about women's basketball or the sports story of the day. And when it talks about other things, it belabors them to the point where no one has any interest. But I got to be honest, Mark in West Hartford is covering stories that clearly should be on the pages of every newspaper in the state. Every one of them. Some of these stories these guys could get Pulitzers for. They are not interested. Which begs the question, do they not care or are they in on it? This is the part that baffles me. And I'm beginning to believe the latter. I truly do believe that they don't want to expose these stories because people have to be protected, and they are being protected. I got a minute. Well, I got less than a minute. I got Joe and Simsbury on the line. I got a couple of other people. I will get to you, but I got Mark in West Hartford coming up in the next break. And he's going to break this story that's happening right in West Hartford at a Jewish school. And the efforts to cover this scandal up as it breaks. So stick around for that. You will not want to miss this story as he brings it to us. I think he should be posting it now, and he's probably alerting many people in the news media to this story who are not reporting on it. But they will get they'll get a full understanding of what's going on today. All right? So stick around with that. We'll be back. More news, more views than you can shake a stick at. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Traffic on I-84 in Hartford keeps on moving slower, but at Columbia Implant Center, we're only getting faster, providing you with specialist care assisted by cutting-edge technology. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont has enacted the state's severe cold weather protocol. Goes into effect on Sunday, will run through Friday. Bitterly cold temperatures are expected to settle in after a round of Monday snow. Those in need of services and assistance are urged to call 211. Nearly $60 million in opioid settlement money is being earmarked for housing and assistance to those caught in the web of addiction. The announcement made today in Hartford. That money is part of an overall $50 billion multi-state settlement. State police have made a second arrest in that incident in which a girls' youth basketball coach struck another man with his vehicle last Saturday after an argument during a game. Under arrest is 40-year-old Jason Suprenet. A warrant states that he was the primary aggressor in that incident in which Brian Baez Rivera allegedly hit Suprenet with his vehicle in Colombia last weekend. TikTok's CEO is thanking President-elect Trump for his commitment to keeping the app available after the Supreme Court upheld the federal law banning it beginning Sunday unless it is sold by its China-based parent company. An award-winning British stage actor, Joan Plowright, the widow of Laurence Olivier, has died. She was 95. In a statement today, her family said Plowright died the previous day, surrounded by her loved ones. She enjoyed a long, illustrious career across theater, film, and TV for over 7 decades. WTIC News Time 3:32. Jason Caterina has the forecast.
Partly sunny for the rest of our Friday afternoon, the high of 41. Partly cloudy, cold tonight, the low back to 28. Now Saturday, it'll be cloudy and breezy. We'll get a touch of rain in the afternoon. They'll have a bit of that damp, raw, chilly feel with the high 45. Saturday night, a little snow and rain early in the evening. Cloudy, the low down to 30. Now Sunday is going to be a mess. We'll start out with some sun. Then it turns cloudy. We'll get some snow late in the afternoon. The high of 38 during the afternoon. Then Sunday night, colder with 3 to 6 inches of snow, so expect rapidly worsening travel conditions during the evening and overnight. The low down to 13. Mostly sunny and breezy Monday. Watch for slick travel in the morning. The high only 22. It'll be the beginning of a prolonged cold wave. Tuesday, frigid, sunshine, a few clouds, the high 19. Bitterly cold on Wednesday, sunny, the high of 16. Then Thursday, not as cold, the high up to 26. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, a couple of issues out here in Rocky Hill. 91 North, 2 right lanes remain closed by exits, the approach of exit 22 and 23. The backup, though, back to 20. They had a tractor-trailer fire out there earlier. In Meriden, there's a 2-vehicle crash 15 northbound between exits 68N and 68W. That has the right lane closed. Wall Street, half hour before the close. The Dow's up 395. NASDAQ's ahead 302, and the S&P's up 66 points. 38 degrees, partly cloudy skies in Hartford. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/radio. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom with Eric Hogarth tomorrow morning at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Damon John here, the People Shark. I want to share a secret that's changing people's lives. There's a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment, plus you can get approved in just a few minutes. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. Trust me when I tell you, National Debt Relief's got your back and can help you get back on track.
To learn how you can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free, call 800-234-7799. 800-234-7799. Again, that's 800-234-7799.
Don't wait. Apply today.
It's a new year. It's time for a new start. And that starts at Proterra Subaru Outlet in Hartford. New lower prices, new lower leases, and 0% financing available. That's right. Start your 2025 with a new Subaru from Proterra Subaru Outlet, where you can save hundreds, even thousands over other areas Subaru dealers.
About 40 seconds.
Backs only $27,995, or lease for just $249 a month. Crosstreks $24,495, or lease for a low $259 a month, or get 0% financing, and that will save you a lot, maybe thousands in interest charges. Get a brand new Impreza for $189 a month, or buy one for $22,495. Buy a new Forester for $28,795, or lease one for $279 a month, or take the 0% financing. Start your new year. And buy your new Subaru from Proterra Subaru Outlet in Hartford, exit 33 off I-91, or online at ProterraMotors.com. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, y'all.
The airing of grievances. Problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
I totally forgot you were going to play that. Thanks for warning me. Reese on the radio on the airing of Grievance Friday right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. As promised, we go to breaking news. And our good friend Mark in West Hartford is on the line. Let's get to him right now. So, Mark, I'm gonna do something for you I think that's gonna be beneficial to the both of us. What I'm gonna do is I'm already working on it, but I have to find a way to link Mark in West Hartford on X onto ReeseOnTheRadio.com. But I think I'm gonna call it what in the hell is Mark doing now? Because you are all over the place, covering every story. You went from the scooters that you found laying about all over Hartford, even though there's no contract with Hartford anymore for these electric scooters. They're still lying about littering the city. And you go on to the next, like every day you're on the next story. You're literally like the local news in Hartford.
Yeah, human trafficking in Rocky Hill.
Exactly, last week.
Yeah, they were going to fire volunteer firefighters who worked in Hartford. They had 72 hours to quit their volunteer jobs. We got that stopped. Listen, but this one is really, we've talked before about the student, the black 11-year-old who hung herself in West Hartford. And that kind of really just spearheaded what I did in my retirement. People were like, why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing? I said, and, I believe in God and fate and karma and luck. And I said, God put me at 34 years old, not a traditional route. I don't know why I became a firefighter and had a great career and thought I maybe made a difference while I worked. Well, some reason I'm right where I need to be, because whether it falls in my lap or people trust in me, which really means a lot to me. And so that kind of came here. So this is out of West Hartford, but can I tell you my experience with West Hartford, though, first?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Reese, my earpiece just died. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Not a problem.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
So I'm 64. So what I knew of West Hartford as a Hartford boy, close to the line, was, yeah, they were different than us. They had, they were like upper middle class. But not this affluent. So those of you who know West Hartford for what it is now, that's not what it always was, especially West Hartford Center. Everybody, the center, they just boasted 2 days ago that penthouses, this building is not even erected yet. Somebody's paying $3 million for a penthouse, and somebody's combining 2 other units for over $2 million. Like, this wasn't the way it was. It was a, upper middle class, lots of blue collar. It was well respected. Public safety was paramount, and so was the education. Hence, why I picked the town. You know, I told that at my first BOE meeting when I addressed them about the girl who hung themselves and they were trying to hide it. I said, I picked this town. I'm a Hartford boy. I didn't want to live in West Hartford. I only came here because of my wife.
Right.
And so I said two things, public safety, education. Well, we're starting to lose both of them. So now the other component to this is this woke, liberal, twisted ideology. So, Reese, I could live. You want to get rid of some Native American names attached to high schools, you know, that's fine. You want to get rid of Columbus Day and call it Indigenous Peoples Day, you know what?
So what?
I'll indulge you.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to kids in my town, and whether it's private school or public school, it makes no difference. These officials in town, the elected and appointed officials, some in our police department, our Chief Vern Riddick, they ignore my emails, my calls, the BOE meetings where I posted online. I never get replies from any of them. They want to hide this very disgusting thing that's going in town. Our kids are targeted. Whether it's the Universalist Church on Fern Street, who, Reese, I told you before, but let's remind, maybe some people didn't know it. We have a church in town that on Friday nights, they groom kids with things like free pizza to watch a drag queen show.
Yeah.
And they start at 8 and 9 years old. Then they bumped it up when I did it. Then they went to, it went from 8 and 9. Now they bumped it up to like 12 or 13.
Right, to
Like,
make it more socially acceptable?
Oh, yeah, more digestible.
Yeah,
They're
right.
teenagers, so they can handle
Right.
some guy dressed up as a woman. So we got the Universalist Church. I just sent you that. I sent you a picture. Look at your phone. This
Okay.
is disgusting. It says trans kids. What's it? You know, I can't look down on my phone now. Trans kids. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, because this one's important.
Okay.
It says trans kids belong in Connecticut. And I'm going to repost it. I tweeted it out.
Oh yeah,
Like,
this was a march. Well, it's a sort of a protest, if you will, with the trans flag saying trans kids belong in Connecticut.
Yeah. So that was in the local paper. That wasn't something I took. Look at the faces on those kids. Do they look like they want to be there?
No,
Do
this
they
looks
look
like they
trans
were
kids?
made to be.
Yeah, look at their faces. It's so disturbing. That same area had another drag queen show right in public during the day on a Saturday. Tom Shattuck posted it. Some guy was dressed as Waldo, holding on to
Wow.
his crotch, dancing around. But now, this leads me to what's going on. Okay, now we have these places. That church has the right to do what they did. These idiots who want to use public space to bring these kids out and force them to hold banners like that.
Right.
That's fine. But when it comes to kids in school, whether it's public or private, so here's what happened that I came across. Solomon Schechter is a private school.
It's not a
known
yeshiva.
as
It's
having-
not a yeshiva. It's just a Jewish school.
It's a Jewish school.
Right.
It's K through 8th grade.
Okay.
And what we found out today, allegedly, an individual, 46 years old, was arrested today. Nick Ricciardi, if I'm saying it right. I'll be posting, believe me, when I get the police report, you'll be able to see all this on Twitter. And please go on Mark from West Hartford or Mark from 34375. But so here's the allegations. He touched a 6-year-old.
Right.
Okay, and
Allegedly, based upon the arrest record.
allegedly, yeah, and I use the word allegedly, and I'll see what the police report said. But just like in the public school, what I'm learning is the officials in that school were trying to do the same thing, which is keep it in-house. But I want to remind everybody, I've talked about this before.
But wait a minute, before you go, wait a minute, I don't want you to go off the deep end. I want you to go right where you just were. You said they tried to keep it in-house. Describe to the audience what were some of the ways they wanted to keep it in-house, because one of the ways you told me was absolutely unheard of.
Well, now we talked about so much, so you're going to have to be specific. 'cause
Okay,
my mind
well,
is
the
spinning
one where they were going to have what could only be described as an in-house tribunal that was the alleged victim versus the alleged perpetrator would have to, there would be an apology
Again,
of some sort?
yep. So allegedly, without me knowing, because again, I have no contact. You know, this is the hard part. Is the families, you know, they you know, for whatever reason, they do what they want to do when they want to do it. In the meantime, I need to try to, just like I did with this girl Jade who hung herself, I have to try to piece together the little that officials are willing to give me. So from what I understand was that they were going to literally have like this intervention. I don't know what you would have called it.
Intervention is a good word. Intervention is a perfect word.
Yeah, or don't they call it some other kind of justice? There's another term for it.
Restorative?
But this isn't two kids. Yeah, restorative justice. But here's the thing is, it's not two kids that had a fight in the playground.
Correct.
This is a 46-year-old who touched a 6-year-old. How could that 6-year-old possibly understand what happened and why is somebody apologizing? They probably know something's wrong. But, I mean, why at 6 years old can they even like digest it?
But the bottom line is the fact that the people in house wanted to find another way to remedy this without doing their due diligence, which again, what they're required to do by law is to report the incident.
Ah, thank you, because that's where I wanted to go next. Here's the bottom line, people. They are mandated reporters. Now, the one thing I can't, because I worked on this with the Cromwell incident when I tried to put a citizen complaint in, because you remember we had those two students,
two young ladies, yes.
siblings? And I said, like, are you guys investigating? And they said no. And I go, wait a second, there's an SRO, he's a mandated reporter, and all the educators are in there. So it's no different here at Solomon Schechter in West Hartford.
Right.
They're mandated reporters. Why aren't people, like, what I need to do is, but you see, you know what, I wish you had a resident attorney. Somebody has to know, like, should there be a consequence for the educators that knew that this went on, tried to keep it in-house and intervene without properly reporting it? Because I only think this guy got arrested.
We don't have a prosecutor. Here's the problem. We don't have a prosecutor anywhere so far that we've seen who is sort of an intervention, like who's intervening in these issues. Once they learn that the faculty is not reporting this, knowing that they're mandated reporters, once they know that they've broken the law, there should be an attorney that, or at least a prosecutor that should be going after those people, because again, there is no way to stop this non-reporting until there are some consequences for not reporting. But no one's willing to step up. The only time we ever hear anybody stepping up in this case, it's got to be a civil litigator who sues the school.
And there you go, bingo. And it shouldn't come to that. And are we supposed to believe, you and I and anybody that is halfway sane, that like nobody has skirted their duty as a mandated reporter in Connecticut? Of course they have, but we never see, like, when are we going to see the first case? Is this going to be it? Maybe if we talk enough about it, maybe somebody will do it. But here's the thing is that I don't want to open up a can of worms with this.
Okay.
But, you know, do some in Connecticut, like a Senator Bob Duff, think it's okay for a teacher? Let's say the teacher was rubbing the 6-year-old's back or belly or tickling or picking him up and down and holding him, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
while reading genderqueer.
Like somebody, then that's for a whole, you know, that segues into that.
Yeah.
But do our politicians, our officials, our lawmakers, are they okay? Are we going to see someday where a Bob Duff is going to present something where our educators are allowed to physically touch the students? It sounds sick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But guess what? We're already there. We're already sick already with our kids. These kids in West Hartford, I can't speak for every town in Connecticut, but let's face it, West Hartford's like the benchmark. I love Tom. Tom always talks about, you know, West Hartford and uses them as the poster child for everything woke and liberal and wrong.
Yeah.
And our mayor, Sherry Cantor, you know, the last time I seen her is marching down Main Street with a BLM balloon. She doesn't come out. She doesn't say anything.
Yeah, we know what their priorities. It's obvious.
Let me tell you how bad it is, because I just remembered this one.
You got it real quick, because you got less than 30 seconds.
We got a family. I'll leave you this one real quick. We got something called the Bridge. All right, and it's supposed to help out troubled families.
Yeah.
There was a house that the bridge in West Hartford had set up in another town for troubled girls, the cops were there all the time. They were being molested. They were doing drugs. They were everything else. You know who sits on the board for the bridge? Our chief, Vern Riddick, and our mayor, Sherry Cantor. That's how out of touch these are. And now one person in the media goes to them after this house got shut down and after all the multiple reports of all the bad things that were going on with these girls. Everything is silent in my town.
Yeah,
and
it's not. Listen, it's not just West Hartford. Listen, it looks like we're seeing this all over the place. Mark, thank you, man. I appreciate you getting all this out.
Thank you. You let me talk about it. Let's follow up when I get the PD report.
As soon as you do, sir, let me know. Mark in West Hartford, folks. Again, I'm going to put a link on Reese on the Radio today to make sure that you guys can check out his stuff, because every day he's out there pounding the ground and getting these stories every day that the news media isn't reporting. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's like Underground Railroad type stuff of things that's going on. It's like quietly these stories that could be reported by any one of them, and he's going to the mainstream news media and they're ignoring it. It's insane. All right, we'll talk about that much more. We'll get your phone calls if you want to respond to that story when we return. Stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Northeast Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you. It can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Northeast Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices: Salem, New Hampshire, Dedham, Marlborough, Woburn, Farmington, Connecticut. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is your voice for common sense values and real conservative insight. Every weekday from 9 until 6, we're talking about the latest state and national headlines that matter most to you. From Fox News, Brian Kilmeade, mornings 9 till 11, Tom Shattuck 11 till 2, and Reese on the Radio 3 till 6. Join us for the news and discussions. And don't keep us all to yourself. Tell a friend. WTIC News Talk 1080, your source for conservative talk, because Connecticut isn't as blue as it used to be.
Hey everyone.
1 minute.
Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online.
Yeah, Tim.
Damn, he just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The airing of grievances.
Grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I mentioned the man's name, so it's only right that we get him on the air. Simsbury Joe is on the line. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's funny, I didn't know about this story that Mark just broke until about 2:45, and the reason I called Mark at 2:45 was to talk about the sickness of Bob Duff.
Yeah.
And very similar to what you said, where you said that there's an active effort to protect evildoers.
Yep.
Because I saw another story, and I'll guide it into what Mark was talking about here, but. You know, the Bob Duff thing we've been talking about on both shows.
Mm-hmm.
It is just beyond sick. When we disagree with people like him, we need to make a major change in society. And people will take what I'm going to say here and they will not feel good about it in their bellies. We are not talking about a disagreement of tax policy or zoning or social spending or prisons or changing the name of a high school.
Right.
We are talking about the protection of children. And these sickos know that we feel very hamstrung about our ability to protect children who are the most innocent in our society. And they keep pressing the levers and pressing the levers. And now we see a story of a teacher who has been living in New Jersey with a 13-year-old student who is the father of her child.
Yep.
I love educators. They drive society. They made me. They had a big part in making me what I became, and I will forever be grateful. But I swear that the world of education has now turned into the world where the freaks go.
Yeah.
And the weirdos, because it's easier access to children, and we have a society where people are, anyone who's willing to cover that stuff up, I'm sorry, is very sick.
Or create
Whether it
laws
be-
or create laws or legislation to protect them.
You know, we've been talking about it for years, and I hope that we don't have to have this conversation anymore in a few weeks. What aspect of society finds it important to protect Epstein's, list of who went to the island?
Indeed.
What aspect of society is protecting Anthony Weiner's laptop?
Yep.
And the P. Diddy stuff that we've talked about. There is a level in society that is very sick, and we're not going to legislate the sickness out of them. And this is where people are going to be bothered. We need to take control as human beings and decide that, hey, you cross that line, you want to share pornography with kids. I'm sorry. I like to think maybe I live in a fantasy world. If I decided that I was going to go after Bob Duff as an individual, they're going to arrest me.
Right.
What's going to happen if 100,000 parents go knocking on Bob Duff's door and saying, "Cut the crap"?
They're going to call them. They're going to call them.
Pathetic?
They're going to call them domestic terrorists. But again, here's the part. Here's the thing. Guys like Bob Duff in this ridiculous resolution, was it 535, SB 523? These things are going to be protected for one reason. One, because the news media will not make any guff about it because that's the only thing that they respond to, and they don't care what the public thinks about it. Simsbury Joe, I got to go, but I agree with your sentiment, man. Something's got to be done, and it ain't enough yet. Let's get our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark?
Hi, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, northbound side of I-91, we're dealing with the remains of a tractor-trailer fire between exit 22 and 23. Right and right center lanes outstay. The left delays are back to 20 Country Club Road behind that issue. Now, once you get around that, good ride up into Hartford. Southbound 91 slows 33 down to 32A and B. And then you'll see a little bit of rubbernecking southbound 91 as you move between 24 and exit 22, rubbernecking at that northbound situation. If you're traveling westbound 84, you're tied up East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge, the 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound. That's slow traffic, 40 Corbin's Corner, right down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound, a little tight as you approach the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84, you're going to see delays 26 in Cheshire up to exit 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, a little slow by exit 18 in Waterbury. If you are traveling on the northbound side of Route 8, looks like we have a crash now northbound by exit 27, so you've got delays behind that moving back into Naugatuck. If you are heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway, a little slow from exit 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, partly sunny, the high of 41. Partly cloudy and cold tonight, the low down to 28. Cloudy and breezy Saturday, touch of rain in the afternoon, so we'll have a bit of that damp, raw, chilly feel with the high 45. Saturday night, a little snow and rain early in the evening, cloudy, the low down to 30. Then Sunday, it'll turn cloudy with a little snow late in the afternoon, the high of 38. More snow overnight into Monday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock, 37 degrees, partly cloudy skies in Hartford. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. The Supreme Court has upheld the bipartisan federal law that bans TikTok from the U.S. unless its Chinese owner sells the app by Sunday.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley voted in favor of the law and says the court made the right decision.
It can track your whereabouts. It can read your text messages. It can track your keystrokes. It has access to your phone records.
Connecticut Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal says he hopes the app can still be used in the U.S.
China should not own it, but it should continue to exist in this country.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
Lots of concern in immigrant communities about the potential first moves of the Trump administration. The president-elect has promised mass deportations. In the face of that, Mayor Justin Elicker has issued a reminder that New Haven is a welcoming city to all. Held a news conference today to talk about available resources for immigrants. Attorney Ben Haldeman of New Haven Legal Assistance says with the unknown landscape ahead, it's important to be prepared.
Seek out family preparation clinics that allow you to prepare power of attorney documents and documents for guardianship in the event that something happens to you so that your family is protected no matter what.
New Haven has posted a document called a resource guide for new residents, reminding immigrants of their rights and more. Nearly $60 million in opioid settlement money is being earmarked for housing and assistance to those caught in the web of addiction in Connecticut. State officials and advocates say homelessness and addiction are often intertwined. The money will be used to help those in recovery secure permanent housing, basic necessities, and rental assistance. Nancy Navarrete, the commissioner for the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, calls the funding a milestone.
The $58.6 million in funding approved by the Opioid Settlement Advisory Committee is an investment in hope, stability, and transformation for some of Connecticut's most vulnerable residents.
Over the next 5 years, Connecticut will see over $14 million annually. That is part of an overall $50 billion multi-state settlement. There's been a second arrest in connection with an incident last weekend in Columbia in which a youth basketball coach is accused of hitting another man with his car. That second person is the victim himself, 40-year-old Jason Suprenant. State police say it all started with an argument last Saturday at Horace Porter School. 29-year-old Brian Baez Rivera was coaching one of the girls' teams when an argument ensued over a foul. Troopers say Suprenant was the aggressor. Following Baez Rivera to his car, that's when Baez Rivera allegedly struck Suprenant, who was standing in the middle of the street. He's charged with assault and risk of injury. Suprenant charged with breach of peace. 3 residential fires in the capital city have kept firefighters busy this week. The latest occurred just before midnight Thursday. Fire in a vacant building then spread to a 3-store multifamily structure on Ward Street. 20 people displaced. Rebecca Johnson with the American Red Cross Disaster Response Team.
Our main focus is that immediate need.
She tells WFSB their mission is to tend to those displaced, getting them personal items and clothing in the immediate aftermath.
We're that face in the middle of the night that, hey, we're going to be able to do this. You don't have to worry about the next, that next 24 hours. But it's trauma.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has tapped his lieutenant governor to fill the Senate seat J.D. Vance is vacating, as Vance is set to be sworn in as vice president Monday. More from correspondent Scott McFarland.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted, a former House Speaker in Ohio, a former Secretary of State in Ohio. When they're doing these short-term appointments to fill Senate seats, a lot of governors, when they have that unique power, like to pick people who have statewide experience. John Husted fits the bill just fine. Doesn't have to learn about parts of the state he doesn't represent because he represents all of it.
Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 334 points. NASDAQ up 291. S&P up 59. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is...
1 minute.
Sense
Thanks,
values
Doc.
and real conservative insight. Every weekday from 9 until 6, we're talking about the
So
latest
tell me
state
some
and
inside
national
baseball.
headlines
Did
that
you
matter
just
most to you.
redo the
From Fox
intro
News,
song?
Brian Kilmeade, mornings 9 till 11. Tom Shattuck, 11 till 2.
Redo what intro song?
Join us for
Reese
the
on the
news
radio.
and discussions.
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
bro.
See News Talk 1080. Your
I can't give you.
No secrets, huh?
No.
Are you a proud Connecticut business owner? We are too, with more than 45 years of experience handling business transactions for small and mid-sized businesses. And we know that not every business relationship works out as planned. If you find yourself in a dispute, call the law.
When I email it to you, I want you to close your eyes, go in the room, turn it up loud,
Experience.
and just reverence in the greatness.
Firm. Call us at 8
I think I'm going to like it. I know I will.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever read. And it's way up there. When I say stupid, it's real stupid. Okay? We talked about this incident right here on the airwaves because it was a national story. It was one of those stories you can't get away from. You all remember the illegal who set a sleeping woman, a homeless woman, on fire on the subway. You all remember it. Well, when that individual, that piece of scum, was on the run, there was a $10,000 reward for his whereabouts. And if you located him and contacted him and led to his arrest, you would win that reward of $10,000. Well, if you go to reaseontheradio.com right now, go to the stupidest thing I've read today, you will find out why those kids are not going to get the money. It is the stupidest thing I've read. There's now being refused for them to get the money. And I read it, I read the headline, and I said, there's no way this is real. And it is. Complete and utter joke. It blew my mind. I was like, what? I'm literally outraged about it. Because we live in kind of a world where nobody gets involved, nobody steps up, and you have two people who stepped up and did the right thing, and then you don't give them the money? You read it and you find out why. It's enough to make you sick. Apple and Dave are in the chat room. Of course, they are starting a new podcast, Prepare to Unfriend. She tells me Kid Rock, Billy Ray Cyrus, The Village People, Hulk Hogan, Elon Musk, Dana White, and many more. Wish you could be with us. I'm sorry, honey, I can't. But you guys are going to have a lot of fun. Let's get to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, would you have been there if your friends told you they had 2 tickets and told you last minute? Would you go to the pre-inaugural thing?
Oh, yeah, of course I would.
You would stop everything and go, right?
That would be really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I love D.C.
I'm not really a party guy. I don't like crowds.
Oh, okay.
I don't like large crowds, like small intimate things I can do, but large crowds, nah.
Not your thing, okay.
Yeah, paranoid. I think people are going to kill me.
No.
Yeah, no.
I would definitely go, though. I don't care who the president.
You wouldn't even care who the president was. You just want to go
no.
because of the pageantry.
Yeah, just see history, and yeah, that would be. I would definitely go to that.
I would only go for the caviar. I really do. I'm a big caviar guy.
I would eat at McDonald's, and I wouldn't. Yeah.
I hear
Most
he's
of
going to
kind of
have
food
that
I
too.
wouldn't like anyways.
I hear he's going to have a lot of McDonald's.
Well, that he's been known to indulge in his McDonald's. So,
yeah.
That's sort of where I would be too. The only bad McDonald's I ever had was when I was over in Japan, and there was a lot of curry on the
what?
Yeah. So I took a bite into my Big Mac, and it was a big old thing of curry.
Oh.
And I think that was the last time I lost weight that week. I think I ate rice. I drank beer and ate rice the whole week, and I actually lost weight. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound. You've got sluggish and stop-and-go traffic, 40 Corbin's Corner right into the downtown tunnel. Southbound 91 looking good. Just some slow traffic, 33 down to 32A and B. A little slow again down by exit 23 West Street in Rocky Hill. Now, good news, northbound side of 91, that earlier tractor-trailer fire has been cleared from the right and right center lane between exit 22 and 23. Right now, though, look for delays kicking back to exit 20 up to exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. After that, pretty good ride up in Hartford. 291, 384, okay. 2 eastbound, moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. Middletown's okay. 84 westbound, Cheshire, delays 26. Right up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you are traveling on the northbound side of Route 8, look for an accident now up by exit 27. That's got delays behind that. If you're heading in toward New Haven, southbound Parkway slowing from 60 into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound delays 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Also look out for an accident 95 southbound in Brantford between exit 56 and 55. Right lane is out there. Delays are back to 57 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
I'll make it our way through tonight. Partly cloudy, cold again. The low down to 28. Cloudy and breezy for Saturday. Touch of afternoon rain. Going to have that damp, raw, chilly feel with the high 45, especially with the south-southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour all day. Saturday night, a little accumulation of snow and rain early in the evening. Cloudy, the low down to 31. Some sun and turning cloudy Sunday. Little accumulation of snow late in the afternoon, the high 41, but then cloudy and colder with snow, mainly early as we head through the overnight. 3 to 6 inches of accumulation, so expect rapidly worsening travel conditions, low visibility, slippery sidewalk streets, the low quickly dropping down to 13, starting with that wet snow, so it's going to be slick Monday morning as well. Currently, Waterbury at 37, Danbury 39, it's 36 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Do you have plans this weekend to head to New York? Whether you take I-95 or the Merritt, you're bound to get stuck in traffic. Come visit us at Columbia Implant Center instead. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Diabetes,
Woman.
anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
This is for all you greenies. God is in charge of the climate. Get it? Now get over it.
It's an airing of grievance Friday on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. That was another airing of grievance online. We'll be playing a couple more during the show. Let's get to the phones. White Mike is in Florida. How you doing, boss?
Hey, man, that story with Mark from Hartford was pretty interesting. So I thought I would go to the Solomon Schechter West Hartford School website to see if I could get a picture of the guy.
We do.
What was his name? Anthony Ricciardi?
Something like that, yes.
And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, when I got to the website, Safari threw me a warning that said, this site may be trying to steal your financial information. Could be a scam.
What?
Yeah. So either they have shut down the site because I think there's only one option here is they have actually shut down the site because they don't want people to go there and contact them about this story.
That's probably quite interesting. The crazy part about this, that White Mike sends me a lot of stories here and there. He sent me one. I had already heard the story because it was on the Gateway Pundits website. Do you frequent there as well, White Mike?
I hit there usually when a story to there is linked on X.
Okay. All right. So I go there pretty regularly, and I know Hoff and a couple of people over at the Gateway Pundit pretty well. So when I saw this story, and again, this is another classic case of like weird, pedophilia type stuff, is that is he a Pulitzer Prize winning artist?
Yes, he was the first African American to win a Pulitzer Prize for cartooning.
Okay, so the first African American to win a Pulitzer Prize for cartooning, and he is a cartoonist for the Washington Post. Well, he just got arrested. White Mike, care to tell the audience what he was arrested for?
Oh, he was arrested for 18 counts of possessing explicit child sexual material.
Yes, and according to the story, artificial intelligent. Like, in other words, it was AI generated.
And he just posted a cartoon of it was a man's face split down the middle, and one half was a MAGA hat yelling groomer, and the other half was a Nazi soldier yelling the German term for child molester, and it said, "These are the same people," or something. So he was a radical leftist who was furious that people are starting to notice there's so many groomers in the world.
Indeed. And this is what he was arrested for. And as you said, 18 counts of it. And again, no mainstream media coverage of it at all.
Well, but yeah, and I've thought about that. And I'm of two mindsets. One is that, and this may be true, both may be true.
Okay.
Is that pedophilia has got its tentacles into every aspect of society from the bottom to the top, and they're protecting their own. And B is that they know we think they're all pedophiles and that their policies have supported these people, so they're trying to cover it up so they don't look complicit.
But it was, okay, so let's take that and why there's some credence in what you say. This should be a story like this, a Pulitzer Prize winning artist for the Washington Post is a front page news story because of the notoriety of the individual. However, it loses its luster because it sort of goes against the things that the mainstream media promotes today. And of course, that's, white guilt and Black Lives Matter. Okay?
Right.
So, but even in that, as stories start to come out more and more and more, these are the salacious stories that, in essence, Pete Hegseth, perfect example. Stories like that, they run rampant on the news media, where, in essence, when we hear these stories about very prominent, I think we had a couple of very prominent Democrats just recently caught under the same scandal as this artist, and these things were on page A27 in the New York Times. So they're very, very scant and seldom where you see these stories as big headlines, even though the notoriety of said individual is, I would say, considerably higher than that of a Pete Hegseth. And they just don't find a way, which almost lends to the point. Well, let me get to my point because I went a roundabout way. Yeah. But it lends to the idea that you said that all they're doing is covering it up because this is, in essence, commonplace within their realm.
Yeah, and this particular guy is their show pony.
Good point.
And you can't have your show pony being revealed to be a sick child molester. And even if you don't physically touch children, if you are using child pornography for your own purposes, you facilitated child molestation.
Indeed. So what do you think it's going to now? Because we know that the mainstream news media has lost a lot of its luster. A lot of people don't watch it. It doesn't matter. This is gone. This story in particular is everywhere online. It's on X. It's on Facebook. It's on social media. That is the new frontier. Does that now become the place where we, in essence, should we no longer care if the New York Times covers that story, or should we should we expect them to cover it and chide them when they don't?
No, your second point makes some sense, but the dinosaur media is done.
Right.
They are yesterday's news. They're the buggy whip of media. Nobody listens to them. They don't
the
matter.
buggy whip. I like that.
YouTube channels get far more views than CNN.
Right.
Mainstream media is done. But you'll notice there were two very similar sexual abuse stories involving celebrities recently in the media. One we all heard of was Vince McMahon.
Right.
And Vince's story basically is he was paying a woman on staff to be his girlfriend, and they did some freaky stuff, and he was mean.
Right.
Right. But the other one is the much beloved fantasy author Neil Gaiman.
I don't know him.
Neil Gaiman is kind of an underground writer. He wrote a really popular book called Sandman, which is now a Netflix show.
Okay.
Neil Gaiman is darling of the geek left.
Okay.
He's a big Me Too guy. He has a history of every time some celebrity was busted doing something, he said, "Oh, believe all women and men are evil." Now he has multiple sexual assault charges against him.
Wow.
From people who work for him, including his babysitter, who he apparently, a 61-year-old man, forced himself into the tub with his 18-year-old babysitter and did stuff to her. And they are trying desperately to hide it, but they're torn because now they have to believe all women, but he's one of their boys. So
Gotcha.
they're really stuck. But Vince McMahon, we heard about on the evening news.
Right, exactly. And primarily because it's an opportunity to, by sort of association, shame Linda McMahon.
And to, by association, shame Donald Trump. because
Indeed.
Trump and Vince are friends.
Indeed.
So, yeah, but it's all pimping. It's all pedophilia. That stuff goes all the way through to the top. There's different levels of pimps. There's street pimps, and there's Diddy, and then there's Epstein, and there's the guy that ran Epstein.
Federal pimps, if you look at it in a way, because both of those guys, how they ironically turned out to be, what do you call it, Fed snitches. That ain't no coincidence.
And somebody supplying the women to the sheiks. So there's somebody above Wexler or whatever his name was. So it's all pimp pedophilia, dude. It's just that now we have the ability to talk about it.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate it, man. Ralph is in South Carolina. How we doing, Ralphie?
We're kind of freezing down here, Reese.
I bet you are. It seems like there's a cold snap across the country.
Yeah, they're talking about possible snow here next week, so that's kind of.
Well, the people of South Carolina look up in the sky and say, "What is these? What are these things falling from the sky?" That's what Virginia used to do.
They see that once every 20 years.
Right.
So, the reason I call Reese, government employees saying that they have to go on a 32-hour work week because they're getting burned out.
Too bad.
What kind of idiots do we have? When I worked 40 hours one job or 55 hours on one job, and I worked 40 hours and I worked part-time 15, 20 hours on another job. And I did this for years and years and years and years. And these people are trying to tell you they got to get a 32-hour work week because they're going to be burnt out. What kind of wimps, I don't know what you want to call them, work for the federal government? You know what I would tell them? If you want a 32-hour work week, please hand in your resignation.
Yeah.
And go look for a 32-hour work week.
And that's what I would do. Well, go work part-time. And they want to make, that's the crazy part about it, Ralph. They not only want a 32-hour work week, they want that to count for full-time.
And they want total full benefits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They want part-time work for full-time pay. I'd laugh at these people any day. Ralph, I met these two guys. They're about to take over my U-Haul. In case you guys didn't know, I've been I've done U-Haul for so long, and I've done the moving business so long that I've decided to hand it off on somebody and sell it to them, and they're very eager to do it. But these two guys, they're in their 20s, Ralph. Let me tell you, these kids, when they were in their 30s, I should say. These guys told me their story about how they became best friends. In high school in Virginia, if it was snowing outside, they would watch the news to wait for them to, the weatherman to say that the schools were closed. They would look on the ticker to see if their schools were closed. And if their school was closed, they would throw on their winter gear and grab shovels, and they would shovel snow from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. that night. They were getting their hustle on. One of the guys, Josh, had an LLC before he graduated high school. That's how determined it is. He believes his mornings start at 4 a.m. And because he needed the extra money, he joined the military because he didn't want to work for the man. He wanted to start his own business. And when he got to the point where he couldn't start his own business, couldn't get off the ground, he joined the military, was an intelligence officer, and now he's home and he's ready to go again. And these guys start their day at 4 a.m. in the morning. I've never seen anybody in their age group this determined.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing that bothers me is, where do these people come from?
I don't know.
Serious. Where do these, with the union saying, oh, well, you know what I would tell those union leaders? We're going to let all those people go and find 32-hour jobs because here we work 40 hours. And if you don't like it, please move on.
I wouldn't accommodate these people ever. I mean, in any way whatsoever. I wouldn't accommodate. If you're a business owner, don't accommodate them at all. Just wait until you get somebody who really, really needs to work. Get somebody not desperate. Get somebody who is desperate to not only provide for themselves and give them the opportunity. There has to be a two-sided deal, Ralph. There has to be, one, you need to find the person who's eager to do the work, but at the same time, you got to compensate them when they do the work. I'd say one of the biggest problems I see in businesses are that they don't recognize talent and they abuse that talent by not letting them know, one, that they are treasured, that they're worthy, and when they do well, give them the opportunity to grow. And that was one of my biggest problems working for any company is like, what's the opportunity? In my interview, my introductory interview, I would say, what is the opportunity for advancement at this job? I started that at the beginning. And if they said not much, I probably would leave.
Absolutely, Reese. Now, can you see our policemen working 32 hours and firemen working 32 hours and sanitation workers working 32 hours? I mean...
No, and you know what? Anybody who would take those jobs wouldn't think of it. If I know anybody, I don't know about you, Ralph, but I grew up with people who say, how can I work longer? Hey, can I get some overtime? Right?
Absolutely.
That's where we grew up. We grew up with those people.
I worked for Johnson & Johnson for 9 years, and my work week was a 55-hour work week. That was my normal standard work week. And I did this for years, and I wasn't a 20-year-old either.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Again, it's unfathomable. Like I said, I hope this trend dies off, and in fact, I hope it never becomes a trend. That's what I'm hoping for.
I don't think Trump is ever going to let federal employees work 32 hours a week. I may be wrong, but
no. You listen to me. That guy's old school. There's no way he's going to allow that to happen. Let me get out of here, buddy. I got to take a break real soon. Thank you, Ralph. And good luck with the snow, man, okay? Put some chains around the tires if necessary, okay?
Sure, I'll keep that. Everybody has chains down here.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. All right, have a good weekend. Oh, man. I don't know about you folks, but like I said, this weekend feels like New Year's Eve. Feels like New Year's Eve to me. Let's get our check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing out there? Is it like New Year's Eve traffic yet?
Yeah, there is a lot of traffic out here this afternoon for the 3-day holiday weekend.
No
if you're
doubt.
Traveling 84 eastbound, look out for an accident left shoulder between exit 40 and 41 in West Hartford. Delays from 41 up to pretty much right down to the Bulkley Bridge. Westbound 84 tied up in East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley out to 45 Flatbush Avenue where it opens up. Southbound 91 got delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're on the northbound side of 91, look out for a crash right shoulder in Cromwell between exit 20 and 21. And again, you'll see some sluggish traffic right up to the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell. After that, more sluggish traffic from 23 up to 25-26 for the Putnam Bridge in Wethersfield. Hartford North moving pretty well. We're just seeing a little bit of a delay now as you move up by exit 38 Pequannock Avenue in Windsor. 291, 384, okay, east of the river. 2 westbound, slowing exit 4 to the 84 West Merchant, East Hartford, quiet Middletown. Waterbury, 84 westbound, delays 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound, slowing by 18. You are seeing delays, Route 8 northbound in Naugatuck now between exit 24 and exit 27. Southbound Parkway delays from exit 61 down to 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound, look out for an accident in Brantford between 56 and 55. Right lane out, delays back to 57 behind that. And another accident reported between 44 and 43 on the southbound side of 95 on the New Haven-West Haven line. Look out for the center lane to be blocked there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, partly sunny, the high 41. Partly cloudy and cold tonight, the low down to 28. It'll be cloudy and breezy with a touch of rain in the afternoon on our Saturday. A bit of that damp, raw, chilly feel with the high 45. Saturday night, a little snow and rain early in the evening, otherwise cloudy, the low down to 30. Now, Sunday, we'll get some sun. It'll turn cloudy during the day with a little snow late in the afternoon, the high 38. More snow overnight into Monday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Presidential inaugural festivities on Monday are being moved indoors. That's because of forecasted sub-freezing temperatures, the coldest for a presidential swearing-in 40 years. It's that same cold weather that has Governor Lamont activating Connecticut's severe cold weather protocol. Goes into effect Sunday evening, will run through Friday at noon. The state's most vulnerable are urged to call 211 for help in getting out of the elements and seeking assistance they may need. Israel's security cabinet okays the Gaza ceasefire deal reached this week. It sends the matter to the full cabinet. Secretary of State Blinken saying he's confident it will go into effect on Sunday. State police say 6 people were seriously injured, possibly with life-threatening injuries after a BMW rollover crash that occurred last evening. The driver lost control on Route 72 west near Exit 2 in New Britain. In Hartford, 20 people were displaced after a fire spread from a vacant building to a nearby apartment building, the third residential fire in the capital city this week. And TikTok CEO thanking President-elect Trump for his commitment to keep the app available after the Supreme Court upheld the federal law banning it beginning Sunday, unless it is sold by its China-based parent company. Markets finished the week in positive territory. The Dow gained 334 points, the Nasdaq was up 291, and the S&P up 59 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Hey, retirement income. Are you sure that you're maximizing your retirement income? Get the retirement income checklist from us, absolutely free. Text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. Again, call or text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. A checklist to maximize your retirement income.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Sports became a bigger part of WTIC in the 1950s. In the early years, the focus was on coverage of the Hartford boxing scene, as well as local football rivalries and annual coverage of the Indy 500. In 1952, we started covering what was then the Insurance City Open, and 72 years later, we are still covering the tournament, which we now know as the Travelers Championship. In 57, we started regularly broadcasting the Boston Red Sox baseball team, and as you also know, the games are still heard right here. Also in 57, George Ehrlich, who was then considered the best play-by-play announcer in all of New England, joined the sports staff here, and with Floyd Richards brought UConn basketball and football to listeners. In 1973, WTIC became the radio home of the Hartford Whalers and broadcast the games until the team left Hartford in 1997.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking.
Oh, man.
Yours is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up!
All right, here we go.
88-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We got the airing of grievances today. Here's another one, which I thought was a nice one. This one is giving a God bless, so it's not much of an airing of grievance.
Hello, Reese. John from Meriden, Connecticut here.
and wishing Todd a happy, healthy, and quick recovery. As for you, God bless you and all you do, and we are praying that you will stay and become a permanent WTIC person. God bless.
That was nice. It's not much of a grievance, but what the hell? He left a message. I want to show him some love. Anyway, let's get to the phones. Let's take Kim real quick. Kim, I've got about 2 minutes for you. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, in case folks didn't hear of it the other day, it came over like at midnight. Given the fires in California, Newsom implemented a sort of regression from his order on diesel use in trucks.
That's right.
If anybody caught that, that is very important. I mean, I think truckers make society go because they get goods and services to market. And I just can't for the life of me think how you can do an electric truck. The storage ability, the cold weather problem, the energy density is just not there. So unfortunately, you have to use diesel. That's just the way it is.
Indeed. Yeah. In fact, Craig...
the truckers are too important. So I saw he did that.
Yeah.
There. How long that will last, it's too early to say. But I think he recognizes you're going to need a lot of trucks to be going into California for the next decade.
I don't think, Kim, I don't think he's going to rescind that at any time. Because, you know, Craig in the car, who always calls in near the end of the show, was actually talking about this exactly. And he's in the industry. And he said that, he was the first person, and they were some of the first people in the industry to get notice that he had done that. And primarily because, look, he's trying to dig himself out of a hole, Gavin Newsom is. And this is one of those times where whatever he was doing that was quote unquote environmentalist or tribal or leftist, he is trying to get so far away from that to keep it and absolve himself of any responsibility, or at least look like a hero, that's the reason why that was done.
Yeah, and it seems to think, I mean, even if one approaches this climate stuff on a middle-of-the-road approach, is with trucks, you would have mass starvation. Yeah. Because trucks would have to recharge so often and locate a place to recharge, which will be filled up. And then you've got the cold weather problem, so they won't be able to charge, and your grocery stores would be bare.
It'd be back orders.
Even your Home Depot, the furnace wouldn't be in stock because the guy is on some road. I mean, it's common sense, and it's just so amazing that these people on the left are just so woke thinking that you can control the climate by banning a gas from the planet.
I know.
And it's going to change things overnight, and you'll have utopia. And they just don't realize.
Kim, I got a hard break, but I appreciate you. I want to get you in as much as possible. Thank you, my dear. You got it. Let's get another check of our traffic. Speaking of gas and diesel, let's go to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Let's talk about all those guys who are driving in gas and diesel out there. Hey, Mark.
You got it, Reese. Thank you. 84 eastbound. Look for delays now approaching exit 43 Park Road, West Hartford, down into the tunnel. Westbound 84 tight up approaching the Bulkley Bridge, the 47 Sigourney Street. Southbound 91's a little tight at 32A and B. If you're traveling northbound 91, look for slow traffic now. Sluggish and stop and go 21 right up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Again, another bump up in Windsor as you move 36 up to exit 38 Pequannock Avenue. 291, 384, okay. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound, you've got slow traffic now. 23 in Berlin down to I-91 north and south. If you are traveling in toward Waterbury, westbound 84 tied up 26 in Cheshire to 23 in Waterbury, again slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Waterbury tight by exit 18. Northbound Route 8, some slow traffic in Naugatuck between exit 24 and exit 27. Southbound Parkway delays 61 down to 60 in Hamden. If you're traveling 95 southbound, we had an accident between exit 56 and 55. I believe that is cleared from the right lane, but still seeing slow traffic from 57 down to 55 in Brantford. And if you're southbound 95, still dealing with a crash between exit 44 and 43 on the West Haven-New Haven line. The right lane shut down there. Delays are approaching 46 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 28. Cloudy, breezy, a touch of afternoon rain for us Saturday. Gonna have that damp, raw, chilly feel, the high 45. A little snow and rain early on Saturday night. Otherwise, the low down to 31. Some sun and turning cloudy Sunday. Little accumulation of snow late in the afternoon, the high 41. It's really going to pick up at night, though, with a quick 3 to 6 inches. So expect rapidly worsening travel conditions on Sunday night and into Monday morning's commute. The low down to 13 Sunday. Monday, mostly sunny, breezy, and colder. The high of 25 will feel like it's in the teens at best with the strong winds. Right now, Danbury at 39, New London at 34, Mansfield also 34. Same for Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck, and we're now in the third week of the new year. Have you lost 16 pounds yet? If no, well, you probably didn't choose Awaken 180 weight loss. I lost 16 pounds my first 3 weeks alone. Switch it up and get your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's no secret, the world is more expensive. But at Mitchell Auto Group, they have a solution. Mitchell Select. Hand-picked selection of affordable, high-quality pre-owned vehicles. Each one goes through a 150-point inspection, comes with a 12-month warranty. What does that do? It ensures reliability and peace of mind. Affordable, dependable. Mitchell Select has what you need. All you have to do is go to mitchellautogroup.com to explore the Select inventory. Mitchell Auto Group, where value meets quality. And remember, folks, always drive safely.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is your voice for common sense values and real conservative insight. Every weekday from 9 until 6, we're talking about the latest state and national headlines that matter most to you. From Fox News, Brian Kilmeade, mornings 9 till 11, Tom Shattuck 11 till 2, and Reese on the radio 3 till 6. Join us for the news and discussions. And don't keep us all to yourself. Tell a friend. WTIC News Talk 1080, your source for conservative talk. Because Connecticut isn't as blue as it used to be.
Attention taxpayers.
1 minute.
Business
Who
owed the
put that
IRS
promo
back taxes
together?
Or have years of unfiled tax returns.
Wasn't me.
I like
Dollars
that.
in tax relief to those facing
Probably Joey.
through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for
By the way, did he
significant
say
relief.
Reese on the radio or just say
Qualifying and enrolling
Reese?
in this program could
No, he said Reese on the radio.
Okay.
settle your tax problem and may even reduce
Get
what
that
you
moniker
owe by up to
correct.
99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-784-4538. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment by dialing 800-784-4538. 800-784-4538. 800-784-4538.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Okay, Hawaii burns, so Joe sends money to Ukraine. Hurricanes hit North Carolina, and remember, some of these people are not back in their houses yet, but Joe sends money to Ukraine. Now, California burns to the ground, and what does Joe do? Joe sends money to Ukraine. Enough, Joe. There has to be a law when there's a lame duck president that all this foolish money being sent all over, spending on foolish items, banning cigarettes, needs to stop. Let's all get to January 20th as quickly as possible and keep up the good work, Reese.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The airing of grievances, of course, if you got one, give us a call, 860-522-WTIC. Or if you'd like to leave one online, like some of our listeners, you can call 202-735-1288. Again, 202-735-1288. And just leave your message there, and we'll be happy to play it during the airing of grievance on Friday. Now, let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. George is in St. Louis. How you doing, George?
Hi, Reese. I got 4. I've got 4 complaints.
You got 4 grievances
Yeah.
for me today. Okay, can we make them
Yeah,
quick?
you bet. Okay, first of all, Biden and the presidency.
Yeah.
We need regulations where at the very least they have a functional brain.
Right.
They have to have their intelligence at least be functional. Secondly, the Democrats. No more racketeering. Wherever it's found inside the Democrat Party, you start prosecuting.
Only the Democrats, though, right? No, I'm kidding. I get your point.
Yeah, the media. Oh yeah, the media.
Yeah.
No more taking orders from the White House. They have to go back to conducting journalism all over again, or otherwise you pull licenses for TV and radio stations. And fourthly,
wait, let me actually, can I add in one thing? We can't have guys like Mike Barnacle. Mike Barnacle can't be sitting on shows like Morning Joke and at the same time speech writing for the administration, because that's state TV if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, we're on the same page. That's exactly what's been going on the last 4 years. And also, fourthly, no more unelected business conducting the people's business.
Right.
No
No
more
unelected officials.
bureaucrats.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Anthony
conducting the
Blinken.
people's business.
That's right. Anthony Blinken cannot make policy outside of the purview of the president of the United States. That couldn't agree with you more. That's a good one. Listen, I think that's going to be the case here. Is that, look, we're dealing with the president now, and I said this on Bellavia's show last week. What we're looking at in the contrast between that administration and this one is that this administration, everyone knows that Donald Trump is in charge, regardless of that nonsense they were doing about Vice President Musk or First Lady Musk, all that nonsense. Everybody knows.
Reese,
wait, hold on. Everybody knows that this goes directly through Donald Trump. When it was with the Biden administration, we didn't have any idea who was in charge.
Reese, I got a final recommendation.
Yeah.
Take part of that. Take part of that border wall fence and build it around the Biden compound.
Don't worry, he's not going. Listen to me. That's I doubt Joe Biden's going to be anywhere. No, listen. Once Joe Biden's gone, the press isn't going to care. They've got other fish to fry. Thank you, George. Let me get to Fred in Middletown. How we doing, Fred?
Hey, a couple quick shots on jobs. So I never applied for anything but that I wanted the job, dishwashing, janitor. I was never looking to go anywhere else.
So you never asked anything about benefits or how many hours there were?
I mean, whatever it was. I would always just be looking for a job, and then they would be like, where do you want to be in 10 years? And it's like, dude, I want like a paycheck in the next few days, weeks, cash today would be great.
Yeah, right.
So that always bugged the hell out of me. I mean, I applied at a Hooters once for kitchen work, a possible job. And where do you see yourself in 10 years, dude?
Somebody asked you that at a Hooters job?
Yeah, they want to know your plan.
Opening my own Hooters, I don't know.
Well, and then there's this low-end move. I worked for my roofing boss and this other guy. Every single person who I hired was going to own the company someday. So you're really like working to own. It's going to be your company someday, right? Don't change the name, he would say. And the other thing is, the thing I notice bosses do is they have one person who there's just no reason to be there.
Yeah.
And everyone hates them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why? Yeah, you noticed that?
Oh, yeah. We call him the son. The boss's kid.
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be the son. No, I've grokked on that. And what I'm thinking it is because the boss always wants there to be some foci of hate just so nobody.
Oh, it's a distraction. He's the draw of all the ire of the company so that the boss goes unscathed. He seems like the good guy. That's such a great point. I never thought about doing that.
He's never the most hated guy.
That's you know what? As a business owner, that shows you I must be a horrible business owner. I never thought of that. What a great.
Well, that's because you're not a scumbag and you don't have to do that. You're probably not hated by your employees.
That's a good point. I'm thinking about that. It's like, wow, that actually would have worked. I'm not going to lie though, Fred. I'll tell you this one. Do you know who's usually the bad guy at my business? And I've refrained from allowing them to be on some jobs. My wife.
No.
She's
there you go. Well, there you
my
go.
wife is a drill. We'll be on a job one day, and I've got to, like, if the boys are working on the job and I have to go there, the supervisor, to deal with a problem with the customer, and my wife will be there, my wife has a very drill sergeant mentality, and she immediately in just interferes in some sort of way. But she'll get involved. She's like, what's the problem? Is there anything that I can do? And I'm just like, no, honey, no. And I'm trying to delicately go, no, we have it handled. It's okay. But she will involve herself.
Deep Army.
Yeah. She's so Army.
DNA.
She's so Army. And she's a problem solver. So I've got to keep her at bay a lot.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Dave is in Ellington. How are we doing, Dave?
Good. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I don't know if anybody's seen this or if it's just me being a freaked out weirdo.
Okay.
But they're covering, the LA fires and all that stuff in California. They interview this guy, lost his house, everything burned to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at the camera and says, I can't believe God didn't answer my prayers and he let me down like this.
Wow. What station was this on?
Look it up.
No, I will. You actually brought up a very, very good point that I want to discuss.
No, dude, I'm telling you, Reese, I'm telling you right now, I called my best friend 3 times before I finally got a hold of him.
Yeah.
Because, he works for a living, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he's like, well, I mean, dude, you're alive.
Yeah.
Your house is gone.
Who
cares?
It's
You're
exactly.
breathing.
I've been looking up, was it Gary? Gary from, George from Vernon, who called up last week when I was talking about Mel Gibson's response to his home burning down. And George and Vernon called up.
I saw that. I thought that was.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was epic. But the way that Mel Gibson sort of responded to it was very calm, very cool. And George and Vernon called and said stoicism. And I immediately started looking it up and I started reading things about it. And that's kind of the plane that I'm kind of working with. I didn't know there was an actual sort of, I guess, I don't want to call it a religion, but a way of life. I didn't know that this was a thing. But it sounds like the way in which I deal with things. It's sort of saying, it's out of my hands. Whatever happens is going to happen. I can't move it.
Actually came out there and said, I can't believe God didn't answer my prayers and he let me down.
Yeah, I know a guy just like that, man. I knew a guy named Jake.
I'm like, what the?
I know a guy named James Montgomery. I'm still, somebody I still know. But James Montgomery, he was one of those guys who really believed that God really had it out for him, would sit there and just be poking him like a voodoo doll. Like he really believed that. But I think there's a degree of, is it narcissism, hubris, arrogance? Like what takes a person to believe that God is looking at you just going, I don't like you. It just plucks you off.
The big thing I take away from it is this, Reese.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you may have lost all your cherished belongings.
Yeah.
You got your wife, you got your kids, you got your dog, you got everything else. And you're going to sit there and complain about it?
Yeah. Because those things that's when you realize, and maybe he will, you never know, but that's when you realize what's valuable, right? What is valuable? And I understand losing the possessions, but maybe that may be maybe you'll need that self-correction that says after you've lost it all, you look at it and go,
everything you have right now, it's all rented.
Exactly. That's all it is. Exactly. There's no U-Haul truck behind a hearse.
I mean, whether you pay off your car, whether you pay off your house, whether you pay off anything,
it's
still rented.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you're gone, there's no use for it. Exactly. At least for you. At least for you. The house still stands.
Reese, have a good day, brother.
Thank you, man. You too. Have a great weekend. I can't. Again, I'm very excited about the weekend. I'll get to your calls in a second. I'll get back to those. I got a couple of minutes. I want to play this because I want to go back to the fire. This I thought was interesting that happened over the weekend. Look at this. Gavin Newsom was talking to President Joe Biden and saying that there's a lot of misinfo out there. And of course, the news media took its marching orders to protect Gavin Newsom and start repeating the same mantra. And when you hear people start talking about misinformation and disinformation, it's a means to cover stuff up.
We've got to deal with this misinformation. There are hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies.
So much misinformation and disinformation circulating about the fires.
The ultimate suppression of information.
So much disinformation out there.
There's a lot of disinformation and a lot of misinformation.
On the backs of this massive disinformation engine.
The disinformation, it's, I think, grotesque and horrible.
Sowing discord and sharing disinformation. This isn't about, California water policies. This is not about having a Democratic governor running our state.
That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us.
The elevation of conspiracy and mis and disinformation.
To not only fight fires, but also the disinformation campaigns that unfortunately spread quickly.
The disinformation spreading as fast as the plane.
A dumpster fire of disinformation.
A fire hose, so to speak, of disinformation.
We have disinformation spreading, sorry to say it, like wildfire.
Oh, I love it when they throw in the puns, the unintentional puns. But is it mis and disinformation?
If we cut one position, if we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die.
This was a city council meeting before the fire, right before the fire.
Just last month, fire personnel packed an LA Fire Commission meeting, begging the city to rethink the budget.
These cuts came at exactly the wrong time, with calls for services at an all-time high and our firefighters at their breaking point.
We are straining our department's resources beyond the brink, and we cannot continue on this path.
City Councilwoman Tracy Park was there too.
Mis and disinformation, bull. Straight up bull. That's why, again, as soon as you hear, when everybody starts echoing it, Kansas City Shuffle. Everybody's saying this, look the other direction. That was CNN that reported that in a random act of journalism. Right there. So it's laughable to watch these people. Gavin Newsom knows 2028, muerto, over. Karen Bass, muerto, that career, over. No coming back from this. They know it. Come back and try to talk to the people of California. Biggie, give me one more chance. Biggie, give me one more chance. You're out of here. It's not happening. It's going to be nice to see them go. That's okay. They'll move someplace else. Maybe should become a small town mayor. Be a small Calabasas or something. Maybe she'll, run a hot dog stand. I don't know, whatever Karen Bass is into. Maybe become the ambassador to Nigeria. That's it. Oh, Ghana. Maybe Ghana, yeah. Something like that. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. A lot of folks heading out for the long holiday weekend. We're seeing delays westbound side of 84 approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows, 44 Prospect Oakwood to the Bulkley. Southbound 91 is a little slow, 33 Jennings Road down to 32 A and B. And again, you'll see just a slow down as you move down into Meriden, 19 down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway. Northbound side 91 is slowing now from exit 20. Pretty much sluggish right up to 25, 26 in Weathersfield. You'll pick up speed after that, and you'll slow again between 35 and 36 in Windsor. 291, 384, okay, 2 eastbound, moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet, Middletown 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84, Cheshire, sluggish stop and go, 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little tight by exit 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury, slowing 3 to 5. Again from 8 to 9 and 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 63 in North Haven down to 60 in Hamden. Southbound 95, look out for an accident down between exit 44 and 43 on the New Haven West Haven line. It was in the right lane there, so delays back to exit 48 behind that in New Haven. Southbound 91 slowing 3 in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 28. Then for Saturday, cloudy and breezy. We'll have a touch of afternoon rain, so it's going to have a damp, raw, chilly feel to the day with a high of 45 and a strong breeze out of the south-southwest. Saturday night, a little snow in the evening. Then it ends cloudy at the low of 31 overnight. Sunday, we'll get some sun before it turns cloudy. A little bit of snow late in the afternoon, accumulating to the high of 41. More overnight with 3 to 6 inches. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 34 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. There's a question this afternoon over whether TikTok will survive in the U.S. The Supreme Court today upheld the law passed in Congress banning the app in the U.S. if its Chinese-based or China-based parent company does not sell it first. A video surfaced of TikTok's CEO thanking President-elect Trump for his support and his pledge to block the ban.
This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship.
Meantime, creators are now scrambling.
David Alzadeh produces informative and entertaining content for his Rose and Winston accounts that he posts on social media.
No, it's not a ferret. It's a sugar glider.
Alzadeh says he's not happy with the Supreme Court's decision about TikTok. He uses the videos he creates as a part-time job, benefiting mostly from advertising dollars on TikTok. So what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, luckily, I've already been preparing for this for a while. I started posting on every platform.
Although the U.S. government cites national security concerns, many TikTok users call the action unconstitutional and question the U.S. government's profiling and surveillance practices and policies. John McDevitt for CBS News, Philadelphia.
Now, according to Quinnipiac University law professor Wayne Unger, despite promises from the incoming administration, they won't go after any provider that distributes or supports the app beyond Sunday.
This bill is law, right? Passed by both the House and the Senate, signed into law by President Biden. And so it has the force of law. That means anything that President Trump wants to do, he cannot do unilaterally, So he can't just repeal the law outright.
He says it remains to be seen whether Trump will ask the Republican-controlled House and Senate to entertain a repeal of the law. New Haven is providing resources for immigrants ahead of the new administration. The president-elect and his team take a hardline stance on it. At a press conference today, Mayor Justin Ellicker, an attorney, warned residents of varying immigration status to obtain power of attorney documents and documents for guardianship in case families are separated. Ellicker says New Haven remains a welcoming city. Alder Sarah Miller of Fairhaven agrees.
Welcoming newcomers is baked into the DNA of our neighborhood. We have our challenges, but the presence of immigrants is not one of them, not even remotely.
New Haven has posted a resource guide for new residents, reminding immigrants of their rights and more. Monday swearing in has been moved indoors due to a forecast for bitter cold temperatures.
The low on Monday is predicted to be a whopping 11 degrees, a high of 23 degrees. And certainly I was out with the U.S. Coast Guard just days ago as they were preparing for this event by crushing some of the ice along the Potomac to ensure that the waterways were prepped for patrol.
That's correspondent Nicole Skanga. The inaugural parade is being moved to a basketball arena in the D.C. area. Israel's cabinet is working into Shabbat to vote on a ceasefire deal with Hamas. More from CBS's Robert Berger in Jerusalem.
Israelis have mixed feelings about this truce. Of course, there's great joy for the 33 hostages who are due to be released over the next 6 weeks. But the fate of 65 other hostages in Gaza has yet to be decided, and there's no guarantee that negotiations for their release will bear fruit.
The ceasefire is still set to take effect on Sunday. Nearly $60 million in opioid settlement money is being earmarked for housing and assistance to those caught in the web of addiction in Connecticut. State officials and advocates say homelessness and opioid addiction are often intertwined. The money will be used to help those in recovery secure permanent housing, basic necessities, and rental assistance. Nancy Navarrete, the commissioner for the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services calls the funding a milestone.
The $58.6 million in funding approved by the Opioid Settlement Advisory Committee is an investment in hope, stability, and transformation for some of Connecticut's most vulnerable residents.
Over the next 5 years, Connecticut will see over $14 million annually. That is part of an overall $50 billion multi-state settlement. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 334 points today. NASDAQ gained 291, and the S&P was up 59. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life insurance.
1 minute.
Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of...
We doing the 5 o'clock focus?
No. If you weren't... Who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on Identify EPI.
All right, here we go.
Speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the...
You're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC, the airing of grievances. An online grievance says, I'm wondering if Michelle Obama not attending the Carter funeral and the Trump inauguration is because she's recovering from plastic surgery in Hawaii. I don't think that's the case at all. I really, really don't. We would notice if Michelle Obama had received plastic surgery. From what I understand, she's just not into politics like that. I think she's always been reluctant of the whole politic thing. And the only sort of source I have for that is Barack Obama's own book called Promised Land. And in the book, he talks about how when he was a state senator, well, he was a senator, how there were long hours and she was very, very angry about the time he spent away from home where she had to raise the children on her own. And that was a contentious point. So I find it odd that even with that, him wanting to be president of the United States and her hating his political life as a senator, knowing full well if he's the president of the United States, that it would be much more arduous on their relationship. And he talks about their relationship having problems or it waning at times in the book. So I find it odd that she would even stay with him. And look, I've read a couple of articles. And I don't usually like to go to the articles. But let me say this. I don't think this marriage is going to last. Not because I'm hopeful. I'm not a guy sitting around grinning about that. You know, it's not schadenfreude. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to last. He is always going to be a former president. He is always going to have to campaign with people all across the country trying to get people to vote. He's always going to be in the news media. He's always going to have Secret Service protections. So I don't think she's, as the kids would say, about that life. So I think she's going, I think she's going to get out of it and they're going to amicably divorce. The kids are grown. And that'll be tabloid fodder for about 6 months at best. Let's get to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, Dean, would it be the first time? I guess it would be. It would be the first time a former president got divorced afterwards? Because I don't remember anybody.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that happen in the modern era.
Not in my lifetime. I mean, I'm trying to think who was Kennedy. No. So Kennedy. No. Lyndon Johnson was the first president when I was alive. But yeah, I don't remember any of them after that.
It would be tough. I think America would sort of mourn a little bit about their relationship in particular not surviving.
Right.
You know, and I think it would have ramifications for, dare I say it, a lot of black kids would, people would feel like, part of their family broke up. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but that's the way they would look at it. They take that personally. They just do. People took Barack Obama and Michelle Obama personally. So
yeah, no doubt about that. No
yeah,
question
so
about
I feel
that.
like if they broke up, people would kind of feel that it would be heartbroken for a lot of people. Just as it's just the way that things go. I don't know. It's just
The
something I
question
thought.
is, would Obama have to read in court off a teleprompter, or could he answer the questions without the teleprompter from the judge?
Nope.
I'm just kidding around. Don't get mad at me. Southbound 91 just slowing 33 down to 32 A and B. If you are south of downtown, you'll see a little slow traffic again as you move down into Middletown between exit 20 and 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden. Northbound 91, some sluggish traffic 20 to 20. Well, actually 20 right up to exit 25, 26 in Wethersfield for the Putnam Bridge. And a slowing again 35 to 36 in Windsor. 291, 384 okay. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. 9 northbound a little slow between 32 and 34 as you move up into New Britain. Westbound 84 sluggish from 25A up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound a little slow as you approach exit 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5 again from exit 9 up to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 62 down to 60 in Hamden. South 95 you've got slow traffic 48 down to 44 in New Haven. 91 southbound New Haven slows 3 in toward the 95 interchange. And look for some slow traffic now as you move down into Brantford. Look for slow traffic on 95 southbound as you move from exit 57 down to exit 54 in Brantford. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 28. Cloudy, breezy with a touch of rain in the afternoon for Saturday. Damp, raw, and chilly feel to the day with a high of 45. A little snow and rain early in the evening Saturday night, otherwise cloudy, the low 31. Some sun early Sunday, then turning cloudy. A little snow late in the afternoon, the high 41. Cloudy and colder with snow mainly early Sunday night. A quick 3 to 6 inches, so expect rapidly worsening travel conditions, low visibility, and just slick conditions all around. The low down to 13. Monday, mostly sunny, breezy, and colder. Slippery travel in the morning, so the morning commute likely not great. And the beginning of a prolonged cold wave, the high of 25 on Monday. Right now, it's 36 in Meriden, also Bristol, 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Worried about the Trump tariffs? At Columbia Implant Center, our prices won't go up. We produce all dentures, crowns, and implants in-house in our own digital lab. Columbia Implant Center, 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. We're going to talk about the beginning of the year and making sure you make it a great one personally, financially, and taxes. Are there going to be big changes at the end of the year? Most definitely. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on TIC News Talk 1080.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at NewNordicUSA.com or at CVS. That's NewNordicUSA.com.
It's a new year. It's time for a new start. And that starts at Bertera Subaru Outlet in Hartford. New lower prices, new lower leases, and 0% financing available. That's right. Start your 2025 with a new Subaru from Bertera Subaru Outlet, where you can save hundreds, even thousands over other areas' Subaru dealers. Brand new Outbacks, only $27,995, or lease for just $249 a month. Crosstreks, $24,495, or lease for a low $259 a month. Or get 0% financing, and that will save you a lot, maybe thousands in interest charges. Get a brand new Impreza for $189 a month, or buy one for $22,495.
Good riddance, Michael Obama.
Buy a new
That's
Forester for
hardcore.
$28,795, or lease one for $279 a month, or take the 0% financing. Start your new year with great savings and buy your new Subaru from Bertera Subaru Outlet in Hartford, exit 33 off I-91, or online at BerteraMotors.com. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
Financial Group is not a law firm.
1 minute.
Timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-20.
All right, here we go.
329-2121. 800-329-2121.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back at Reese on the radio. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, friend Reese on the radio. You got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. And then you find the social media places, and you just click on any one of those. Facebook is usually the most prominent place to go. That's kind of where I hang out. You go to Facebook. People send me stories all the time. I've got a couple of people who go to Instagram. I don't go to Instagram as much, probably because I don't find enough time. I try to, but I get a lot of messages there on Instagram because that's kind of where people are. But where I live is on Facebook. But go to reeseontheradio.com, again, REESE on the radio.com. And you go there, and then you friend us on Facebook again and on other places as well. In fact, friend us on all of them. And you can follow the show. What I would like is you would be so kind, and I beg of you, and I applaud you if you do, share with your friends. I know how some people talk about talk radio. Let me say this this is important before I get to the calls. I know what some people think about talk radio. And I share with you that sentiment. The people out there who criticize talk radio. Oh, you guys just talk about news and you're bored and you're... Those of you who've listened to this show know that that's not the case. I don't do anything like that at all. This show is far more than that, at least if I may say so myself. So share the show, let people know that you watch it, and let them figure it out for themselves. And if they don't like it, tell them, please let me know that they don't like it, because I live off that. I do. My wife knows this about me. She thinks I'm a little crazy, but she goes, you really, really like that criticism. And I know, yeah, because, some people are just hating for the sake of hating. But there are some people who criticize, or they'll say something, and I'll just go, okay, that's an interesting thought. Let me look and see if I see what they see. Because I believe all opinions are valuable. Not all, but some are very valuable. And I like to hear how people think and why they think the way in which they do. I don't tell people what to think. I like the way that they do. That's interesting. Tommy Varhol is in the chat room. He says, hey, Reese, brother Tommy V here to check out and say hello. You sound terrific as usual. I wish I knew what happened. Tom, his family has released a statement, but I'm sure that you can find that. If it hasn't been posted on the website yet, they will post that. But he has ended the show with WTIC. But his statement, I think, is public already. You might be able to find that. Okay. So, and Tommy V, we'll talk. Give me a holler. We'll talk about it. I want to make sure that we also remember that what had happened was we're going to talk about what we talked about in the beginning of the show. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up. And I've got some other news items that I want to get to as well, local and national, and all hell international, because Elon Musk is just blowing up rockets in the sky. Joe is in New Hampshire. What's going on, Joe?
Hi there. A few things I'd love to get through you. The first thing is a rumor going around that you're going to be at the inaugural ball Monday night, and you're going to be up there with the Village People, one of their background dancers. Is that true?
No truth to that. But my good friends Apple and Dave are going to the pre-inaugural ball on Sunday afternoon. I think the doors open at 3, but they're going to be there at 3 o'clock. And then they will be my guests on Monday on Inauguration Day to talk about that experience and, of course, to preview their new show called Prepare to Unfriend, which is going to be on all the streaming services. So, yeah, they will be there and tell me all about it, but unfortunately I won't.
All right. Well, okay. You're next. That's a rumor that I'll ignore. Second thing, ceremony, the swearing in, it's a godsend. God's looking over Donald Trump again, because it's going to be indoors in the Capitol, which takes him from outdoors with all the chatter about drone assassination by drones.
There were two
it's out there.
Joe, there were two very quietly reported stories. One from James O'Keefe's OMG and another one from the Gateway Pundit, that it said that a very unprecedented what's it called? The office OGM, or Office of Government Management, something like that. I can't remember exactly. It's not on the tip of my tongue. But they were requesting for the first time, a whistleblower from that government department had sent a memo to James O'Keefe that said that they had requested a considerable amount of extra first responders for the inauguration. And the whistleblower said that they believed that they had something planned for this inauguration. James O'Keefe, you can actually go to James O'Keefe's site, and he has a story about it where they called the office to find out if there was anything sort of unprecedented about the security and the first responder detail that was going on. They said that it had been done before and it was nothing weird, but that story was not reported by mainstream news media. But I'm with you. When I saw that James O'Keefe story and I heard that security might be a problem there, that's why I said in the beginning of the show, it's almost like it was preordained for this cold weather to come in and force them inside.
Okay. There's a lot out there. I told you a month ago that the danger for Donald Trump would increase right up to the moment he's sworn in.
Of course.
Big danger. Okay, two more things. Third thing, quickly, I just discovered it's been out there for over a year and a half. There's an ETF. I'll find out the acronym for you and all the listeners. It's a special ETF that just invests. They track Democrat lawmakers in Washington, what they invest in. Pelosi's part of that group. And it's an ETF you can invest in. You just copy what they're doing. It's like after the fact. And last year, that ETF was up 87%, which far exceeded the stock market's 20-some%. You're just copying what just Democrat lawmakers, what they invest in. I'll get the information for you as soon as I can.
Okay, last one. What do you got?
The last one is the most important one. That Lincoln Riley bill went through Congress. 145 Democrats voted against it.
Of course.
And it has to get through the Senate. Now, the person who runs the Republican Party in Connecticut has been silent so far about the Congress people that voted against it in Connecticut. Now, out of the 5 in Connecticut, now Blumenthal today said he's going to vote against it. He's a scumbag. But what 2 Congress people voted against it? Are you aware of it? I know, I can tell you. But out of the 5, 3 said, okay, they're for it, but 2 said they were against it. Can you guess which 2?
I don't know, but give me the 2.
You can look it up. One doesn't surprise me at all. Rosa DeLauro out of New Haven.
Of course.
85-year-old purple hair. She's, but she's scum.
Well,
I mean, who would vote to go against women being, murdered, hit, beaten in the head?
If it's a leftist policy, they stand with it. Who's the second one?
The second one is the school teacher who's supposed to be Social Security. I'm for the people. I love everybody. John Larson.
Oh,
Hartford
man.
Congressperson. Look it up. He is nay. I checked it on the computer last night. He's a scumbag. Dolores is a scumbag. Blumenthal's a scumbag. And I'm surprised that the Republican leadership in Connecticut doesn't jump on this and run it right to the next election.
That's exactly what they should do. Thank you, Joe. Let's go to Doc in Harrington. How are we doing, Doc?
Good. Hey, 2 grievances. The first one is, why do people think that illegal immigrants have rights?
I know.
Don't. But the other one that's near and dear to my heart is, even if you could get an electric truck to go as far as a diesel truck, it would have to go very much unloaded because it would exceed the gross vehicle weight because of the battery.
What is the battery weight on an electric truck, if I'm right, is 4,000 pounds?
Yes, 2 tons.
Yeah, it's 2 tons, right? Okay, I am certain of that. I thought I heard that somewhere, and I thought that I had that number wrong. So 4,000 pounds, and if I'm in my head, I'm thinking that the cargo weight couldn't exceed 20,000.
That's the gross vehicle weight.
Yes.
That's the cargo and the truck.
Right, exactly. So we got the 4,000 pounds of the battery. We got we've also got the truck weight, or the rig weight, right? And then the load, the cargo load. So we're talking about a vehicle that is on there that would probably exceed. I mean, if we're talking about if we're taking considerable weight, we're talking about something that's sitting at the top of I want to say 50 to 60, 100,000 pounds.
Yes.
And so the road damage would be demonstrable. I mean, it would be considerable.
Right. So to meet the national safety standards, they would have to carry a quarter of what they would normally carry.
Exactly. And we also have to consider things like the weight, the wheel weight, the axle weight. Holy, there's so much to consider.
Put it in perspective, in an electric car, you only get 7,000 miles out of your tires. It's the recommended change rate. Now, what's it going to be for a tractor-trailer truck? 2,000 miles?
Yeah. Yeah.
At over $2,500 a tire?
Everything about this is insane. And even, look, I hear Elon Musk wanting to do these, sort of like these other sort of cargo trucks, but I hope he's talking about, like, if we were to reinvent the wheel, if we were to turn these trucks into like UPS and FedEx trucks, okay, all for it. That those packages that those guys carry, we're not talking about the hundreds of thousands of pounds, right? A UPS truck that runs electric, great. I would totally do that fleet because they're running in and around the towns or the cities that they operate in. So that makes sense.
Right.
But you don't.
He's proposing what they call SD vehicles, short distance.
Yes,
vehicles.
exactly. Exactly, short distance. That all makes sense if you're doing local runs. You buy them where they're workable, not cross country. No guy working cross country is going to drive an electric truck and consider himself safe and efficient for that matter. No one is. It makes no sense.
And if they catch fire, Lord love a duck.
Oh yeah, forget about those things. We might as well let it. What did we let the electric bus? How long did that burn? 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there goes that. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I don't know whether or not they're going to give up this idea. I'm hoping that this year they get so torn down. This idea gets so torn down that people finally say, all right, look, you know what? We had enough. We're going in another direction. Craig's in the chat room in my conversation with Kim in Cromwell, sorry. Craig said this. He said they only reversed the fleet operator requirements, and this is talking about the diesel trucks in California. They only reversed the fleet operator requirements. There is also a manufacturer mandates that are still in place. He's already destroyed the industry in California. I have friends that have moved from California to Texas because of these insane rigs or regulations. Yeah, again, that's what they're going to do. They're going to pretty much kill the industry in their states and their cities. And then they're going to wonder where all the jobs have gone. Soon Silicon Valley's not going to be there anymore because they're the ones that are footing the bill. Silicon Valley's paying all of the taxes for all of the residents. As the people leave, so will Silicon. Let's take another break and get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Man, it's been a while. I feel like it's been like over a half an hour since I talked to you.
They come up quick.
Yeah, exactly.
In westbound 84, you've got slow traffic now in Hartford, Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, still slowing 43 Park Road down to the Bulkley Bridge. Southbound 91's a little slow at 33 Jennings Road. Northbound 91, you'll see some slow traffic as you move by exit 23 up to 2526 in Wethersfield. And then look for some slow traffic southbound 91 on approaching the Massachusetts-Connecticut line on the southbound side of 91, slow there. 291, 384, okay. 2 eastbounds moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 18 to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 is a little tight by exit to 25 again as you approach the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound slowing New York, Connecticut line in Danbury out to exit 5 again. Sluggish traffic 8 to 11 in Newtown. If you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic in Hamden as you move from exit 62 down to 60. 95 southbound delays 48 down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound delays 3 in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 28. Then for Saturday, cloudy and breezy. We'll have a touch of afternoon rain, so it's going to have a damp, raw, chilly feel to the day with a high of 45 and a strong breeze out of the south-southwest. Saturday night, a little snow in the evening. Then it ends cloudy at the low of 31 overnight. Sunday, we'll get some sun before it turns cloudy. A little bit of snow late in the afternoon, accumulating to the high of 41. More overnight with 3 to 6 inches. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, Hartford temperature 34 degrees. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont has enacted the state's severe cold weather protocol. Goes into effect on Sunday, will run through Friday. Bitterly cold temperatures are expected to settle in after a round of snow on Monday. Those in need of services and assistance can call 211. Nearly $60 million in opioid settlement money is being earmarked for housing and assistance to those caught in the web of addiction in Connecticut. The announcement made today, that money is part of an overall $50 billion multi-state settlement. State police have made a second arrest has been made in that incident in which a girls' youth basketball coach struck another man with his vehicle last Saturday after an argument during a game. Under arrest is 40-year-old Jason Suprenant. A warrant states he was the primary aggressor in the incident in which Brian Baez Rivera hit Suprenant with his vehicle in Columbia last weekend. TikTok's CEO thanking President-elect Trump for his commitment to keeping the app available after the Supreme Court upheld the federal law banning it beginning Sunday unless it is sold by its China-based parent company. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 334 points today. NASDAQ finished the week up 291 and the S&P gained 59 points. NBA tonight, Celtics home to take on the Magic, the Knicks home to take on the T-Wolves, and the Nets have a late one in L.A. against the Lakers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Life and
Whoa, a minute.
Are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com. The election is over and a new pro-business administration is about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. With rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at Swish.
Here we go.
SWISHfunding.com.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
It's time for What Had Happened Was.
What had happened was.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
What had happened was.
What had happened was, earlier today, of course, we talked about Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is leaving, and this is the last weekend. He did his final interview with MSNBC with Lawrence O'Donnell, of course, appropriately going there. Lawrence O'Donnell smiling, grinning, accepting obviously the lack of mental acuity of the president of the United States, about to go out. Lawrence O'Donnell looking there like he was so happy to be there. So like, oh, thank you for acknowledging me, sir. He's so proud of the president of the United States. But we bid a fond farewell to Joe Biden, and we did it the only appropriate way that we could. And people were asking yesterday, it was like, wow, what song could you possibly play? And I thought this was appropriate because what we dealt with in the last 4 years with Joe Biden, talk about cognitive ability, with Joe Biden, what could only be described as fascism. Free speech was tested. Freedom in general was tested with COVID-19 lockdowns and mandates, things like that, you know? So I found a musical that all of us know and love that sort of captures that whole thing. The Von Trapp family. Remember they had to escape the Nazis? So I thought The Sound of Music would be appropriate.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell, our readers saying goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye. I said goodbye. You didn't hear me? Get up out of here. Bounce.
Goodbye.
Now, truth be told, I don't know if you know this, Roland. This is my favorite musical of all time. I love The Sound of Music. It is.
I always love that goodbye.
Yeah, that scene, right?
Yeah.
So long, farewell. It's the best scene in the film. I mean, a lot of people like other parts of the movie. Do Re Mi. That's all good, but that is my favorite scene in there. It's funny, it's whimsical, and when I was a kid, I had the biggest crush on the dark-haired girl who used to be on the TV series Lost in Space. I can't remember her name, but somebody will know it. But she, big, doe-eyed, dark hair. She's one of the only younger, dark-haired girls in the West End. She was on, when I was a kid, she was much older than, Lost in Space came out in repeats when I was a kid. But when I was growing up, I used to watch those episodes, and I always thought she was the prettiest. It was before my love affair with blonde women. I loved the brunette.
Yeah, I like that song, and I also like the
Few of my favorite things?
The song for the Carol Burnett show.
What the oh, wait a minute, hold on. The Carol
Is it the Carol Burnett show, or is it the what's the guy's name? The good night, sleep tight, and pleasant dreams to you.
Oh my God. Are you talking wait.
There's a wish and a friend for every dream come true. And now till we meet again, adios au revoir, au revoir, say.
I don't know that one.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I got a view. Well, find it real quick.
I'll find it.
Okay. Penny, that's her name. Yes, you're absolutely right, Michael A. Still my favorite, and I thought it was appropriate. Let's go to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, do you know the dark-haired girl who used to be in the Lost in Space series? Her name was Penny. Her name was Penny on the show.
Oh.
She was the little sister. Because, there's Will Robinson, and then there's his older sister. I think it's
Mimi
Penny
Rogers?
Robinson. Is that her name? That can't be Mimi Rogers.
You're looking for the original one, right?
I'm looking for the original one with who's the doctor, the robot, and Will Rogers was the, was the little boy, and he had a sister on the show. She had dark hair. She was rarely ever seen, though. But I just read she was also in The Sound of Music. But she's the only, I think she's the one sister with dark hair, the younger sister with dark hair. You don't remember her. No one does. There you go. I loved all of those shows growing up, and I can't remember anybody's name anymore. Yeah, I can't. I should be looking it up. Why don't I just do that? And I can look it up.
I mean, Angela Cartwright.
Yes, the robot on the next flick, Angela Cartwright. That Susan is in the chat room. She just told me that. Angela Cartwright, that is her name. Okay. And the reboot on Netflix was really, really good. They should have renewed it. It was so advanced, but some odd reason it didn't catch on. But it was a really, really good reboot on Netflix.
I'll tell you, the original television show, and I was just hyper. But for me to sit down, I loved that show.
You did?
I loved how the robot was overpowered, and somehow they were able to find parts, and they kind of glued them and duct taped them back together.
Indeed, they did.
It was great stuff. It was good stuff. But Dr. Smith always screwing everything up. It was just a great show.
Yeah.
Danger.
Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, not too much danger. There is some traffic, but not too much danger to deal with right now on the northbound side of 91. Look out for an accident up by exit 36 Park Avenue. Delays are back to 35 behind that. Also some sluggish traffic, 91 northbound, 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. South of 91 slowing at 32 A and B. South of downtown, you're a little tight from 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway in Meriden. Eastbound 84, some slow traffic, 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is just a little slowdown as you move out of the tunnel up to 48 Asylum Street. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbounds in good shape, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown, 90 in the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury's a little slow, 84 westbound, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound losing speed in Waterbury by 18. 84 eastbound Danbury tight 3 to 5. Again from 9 in Newtown to 11 in Newtown. If you're traveling southbound Parkway, look for slow traffic from 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound 95's tight 48 down to 44 in New Haven, and 91 southbound delays 3 in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic is brought to you by the Heyman Law Firm.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HEYMAN and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Heyman is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HEYMAN.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 28. Cloudy and breezy with a touch of rain on Saturday afternoon. Damp, raw, and chilly with a high of 45. A little snow and rain early in the evening Saturday night. Otherwise, the low down to 31. Some sun, then turning cloudy Sunday. A little snow late in the afternoon, the high 41. Sunday night's going to be a mess, though. Cloudy and colder with snow accumulating 3 to 6 inches. So expect rapidly worsening travel conditions after dark. Low visibility, slick sidewalks and streets. The low down to 13. And then mostly sunny, breezy, and colder Monday. The beginning of a prolonged cold wave, the high of 25. Going to feel a lot colder than that with the strong winds, too. Right now, it's 30 in Waterbury, New Haven at 34, Bridgeport 34, also 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from...
1 minute.
in
Thank
the
you,
orange
sir.
sweater, and this is
Did you
your
find out
wake-up
the name
call.
of the song?
If you're paying too much for what?
Yeah, from the Lawrence Welk show.
Oh, it was
Carol
the Lawrence
Burnett
song.
used to be on that show sometimes.
Yes, I knew. I had a feeling it was Lawrence Welk. God, did
new
they make you
customers
watch
receive
that?
their
I
second
thought
month
I was
free
the only
when they
one.
sign up and use promo
Oh, I used to watch it with my grandparents.
Why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly, all chocolates are heart-shaped, and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just 20 minutes.
All right, here we go.
CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Good night, sleep tight, and pleasant dreams to you. Here's a wish and a prayer that every dream comes true.
And now till we meet again. Adios. Au revoir. Good night.
You were completely forced to watch that growing up, and that song, that earworm is just stuck in your head growing up.
Hey, it's part of me becoming a musician, man.
Oh, really? Okay, so sort of.
So that's the way I took it. I used to just sit there with my grandparents and watch that, and all the other shows from In the Heat of the Night to Murder, She Wrote to Matlock to Perry Mason, and
music is the defining, like that's the sort of the glue that holds everything you just said. Theme songs or like theme songs or trailer music or even just soundtracks to films. All of that streams in. It's like if you're going to be a producer, that's like the most important thing. I wanted to be a producer when I grew up, and I wanted to be like John Williams and Alan Silvestri. All of those guys immediately, Bill Conti, all of those guys would do music in films and television, and I wanted to do the same thing because of that.
Yep, the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
I love that theme song.
Oh, did you really?
The whistle,
yeah, the whistle's kind of cool.
That's literally what taught me how to whistle because I wanted to whistle that song so bad.
Wow. If you're watching the show, I put the picture up wrong angle. I put the picture up of Angela Cartwright this was their Christmas edition photo or Christmas promotion photo from Lost in Space. And again, I always just thought she was so pretty. The way that she looked, she not like any other girl I'd seen growing up in Southside Jamaica, Queens, and I just took a liking to her. And I'd never known her name. And that's weird. Well, maybe I've known her name and I just hadn't thought about it in so long. But thank you, Susan, for bringing it up. Before I get to the phone calls, I want to say this. So I understand that Monday, Inauguration Day, is also the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. It's a Martin Luther King holiday, I should say. And I learned today, and I'm surprised that I did not know this, but you cannot air the Martin Luther King speech on air because the family of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Take exception to that. In essence, you have to ask their permission, which I found very odd and very disheartening. So when I heard about it, and I got the email today that, look, they will go after you if you play it, I said to myself, okay, no problem. So on Monday, on Inauguration Day, on Reese on the Radio, I will give Reese on the Radio's I Have a Dream speech that you will not want to miss. And I promise you it will be chock full of policy positions that you, the people here at WTIC, will respect and love. I promise you. And it's perfect because it's on Inauguration Day. Now, with that, we go to the phones. Mike's in Plainville. How you doing, Mike?
Hello.
What's going on, Mike?
You had a caller yesterday, Steve. You said he's a doctor?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he belongs in the ideal world because, well, certain people should be this and certain people should be that. We don't have 20 or 30 lines of professions lining up to hire people. People aren't going to evenly pick professions.
No,
Who's
exactly.
gonna pick profession for people? I don't know. He just seemed like he was a little bit too.
I think he was.
don't know.
I think his intentions are good, but I think his planning is flawed. I think that, like I said, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah,
he's a bad
I
guy.
think
but
that
mean, it's
he.
like,
I think that he doesn't know. That's a really difficult thing to execute, as I tried to express to him, because it's not so much that you have 13% of doctors, is you actually have to get 13% of the population or 13% of people to join that profession, right? It's not so much that we don't have 13% of doctors. We have to ask the question why.
it's just, for some reason, people aren't attracted to these
Yes,
professions.
yes.
It requires a lot. I mean, just the education and the residencies and the internships and everything to get through. People don't want to go through all that red tape.
Exactly.
They want to get out of college if they go to college.
12 years, man?
$100,000 a year.
Can you imagine 12 years of dedication? I give it up to anyone who spends that amount of time in school to become a doctor or a resident.
Not to mention the anxiety and the stress.
Yeah,
of a job
indeed.
like that.
That's right. Right
So
on
listen,
point.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I don't tell anybody I'm off today.
Okay. Well, you have a wonderful rest of.
By the way, how's your wife doing?
She's doing great. She's actually out visiting her grandmother now. There's been some organ failure, but they say that that's recovered. But they are definitely.
My best.
Yeah,
Someday I want to meet you and your wife. I'd love to meet your wife and you together sometime, somewhere, someplace in New England.
She's more excited than you know, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's go to Kyle in Wallingford. How we doing, sir?
Yeah. Hey. Hi, Reese. It's Kyle. I'm in Durham right now. Anyway, I'm a little late to help you out here, but you should have seen me yelling at the radio, Angela Cartwright.
No problem. So were you?
I know what the deal is with. She's got that just a sweet and innocent girl next door type of
yes,
look.
that's exactly
that was
right.
What I kind of.
And so you know what? I think that the attraction to an Angela Cartwright and her beauty is very similar to why boys flock to Marianne on Gilligan's Island as opposed to Ginger.
Mm. And the other thing I was, which you've already taken care of, was the closing theme goes back to the 1960s, the Lawrence Welk closing theme, the Adios Aurora.
I don't even remember, because anytime Lawrence Welk would come on, I would find an excuse to leave the room because we were forced to watch that. I just forced it, and I wasn't really a big band guy until much later.
I just wanted to, I don't usually call in because I'm usually driving, but I pulled over. Anyway, just want to say I enjoy your show very much, and good, hope it continues. I enjoy it, and thank you very much for a good show.
You got it, Kyle. Thank you. It's my pleasure, sir. Steve's in Waterbury. How we doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. I got a lot of quick trivia for you.
You got it.
First of all, with the doctors, you got the malpractice they also got to worry about.
That's right. Good point.
Yep. Angela Cartwright did have a sister who also was an actress. I don't remember her name. I was actually more of a fan of Judy, but with
she's the older sister. Judy the older. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about Judy?
Right.
Judy Andrews or Judy on?
No, Judy from
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
The blonde.
She was a girl from Sweden originally, I believe.
That's right.
Now, Bill Mummy is also a musician. He did the song Fish Heads, Roly Poly Fish Heads is one of his songs.
Oh,
if
okay.
you ever heard that. But I was going to say for Biden, the song "He's Coming to Take Me Away" would have been appropriate going back to months ago. Also, you mentioned one song that was not from Sound of Music, but was actually, if I'm not mistaken, was from the one with Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Which song was that one? Is that a few of my favorite things?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Poppins, wait a minute. So which one? Oh, you know what? You are 100% right. I think I totally, completely, I melded the two musicals together.
That's easy to do.
Yeah.
By the way, that robot costume.
Yes.
That actually weighed 300 pounds. And I think the guy that was inside it might have been one of the Munchkins in
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check that, and I'll get back to you on that.
You got it.
One more thing about that. The guy who designed that robot, also remember the black taller robot, Robbie, that was in several movies?
Yes.
He was the same creator.
Oh, wow. Damn, that,
And
you know, so
one-
funny how the incestuous that industry is.
Absolutely. One last thing. Remember the carriage that they used to drive in? That was like
yeah,
like that actually got it ended up in disrepair, but somebody actually bought it and restored it.
Oh, wow. No, now I have to see that. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, sir. Let's go to, let's go to Marie real quick. How we doing, Marie? Marie, are you there?
Hello, I'm sorry. I thought I had he had said that the favorite things was from
Mary
something with Dick
Poppins?
Van Dyke. No, it's not Mary Poppins.
It
That's
isn't?
Classic. No, that's classic Sound of Music. Favorite things when there was a thunderstorm.
Real? Okay, hold on. I'm going to it right now. Favorite things.
When there was a thunderstorm.
Yep, it's Sound of Music.
In the Sound of Music, all the kids were worried. It was like, oh, we'll think of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings.
Let me ask you
when
this,
I'm
Marie.
feeling bad.
Can you solve a mystery for me?
I hope so.
Okay, why in God's name do they keep playing that during Christmas music?
I have no idea why that is a Christmas song. It blows my mind.
It is.
Probably because it makes no sense because it has nothing to do with presents.
Exactly, but I think it's favorite things, and it's sort of like it lends itself to the idea of getting gifts. And so it's so seamless that no one makes a beef about it. I kind of feel like I'm the only one who ever beefs about it. Because I'm like, why does that?
I do too. Every single, although I love it.
Yes.
I'm the youngest of 8.
Damn.
And yeah, all the same mom and dad. Well, first siblings, no steps, and we all nothing against that.
Well, let me just say this to you, Marie, before I let you go. Your parents clearly needed cable TV when you were being born. Something to distract them.
We had only 3, 8, and 30, and maybe PBS. So yeah.
8 kids.
So we all used to sing every single song from the Sound of Music.
So good. I knew I picked a good song. Sound of Music it's a good standby.
You rock. You rock. I know. I sang Memories.
I know. And so I knew you were coming back for this one. So I figured you'd call back because of the song.
No, I definitely did. I love it. It's better than what I did for sure.
Thank you, Marie.
Hi,
Bye. You got it. Craig is in the car. How we doing, buddy?
I think Marie is going to debut at the Rainbow Room next week. Gee, she likes to sing, baby.
Yeah, I hear it's going to get crazy.
I'm going to tell you.
No, you go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. I'm going to tell you a story that you might be able to relate to. So,
30 seconds.
I was at the hospital when my wife's grandmother was read her last rites.
Wow.
She lived 7 more years.
I'm totally relating to that. I got to let you go. Craig, that was the perfect last but not least. God bless you, man. I will see you guys on Monday.
You too.
All right. As I always say, Radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You don't forget to be back here on Monday, an hour early. We're going to have Reese on the radios. We're going to have Dr. Reese on the radios. I Have a Dream speech. We're going to have inauguration coverage. We're going to have Apple and Dave from their new podcast, Prepare to Unfriend, to talk about the pre-inauguration ball, where they'll have pictures and sound bites and all that good stuff. So make sure that you're here. Again, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow, and a great weekend. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. See you on Monday.
Yes, we will. Have a great weekend. If you're heading into Hartford right now, eastbound side of 84, you got some slow traffic.
All right, good sir.
Oh, man. Okay, so when are you going to send me this audio? Is it going to wait till this weekend?
Yeah, sometime this weekend, probably Sunday.
Okay, all right.
'Cause I got a bunch of shit to do Saturday. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, man. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
I talk to you later.
Enjoy.
Thank you. You too.
291, 384 moving well. 2 eastbound looks good. Glastonbury to Marlboro.
Okay, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to miss you guys all weekend. Don't forget to check out the Sunday show. I'll have all of the details. I got to talk to you on the Sunday show. I got to talk about this article that came out in the New York Times about Chuck Schumer going to Rehoboth Beach to talk Joe Biden out of the election. And the date that he shows up is very significant to the story, if you haven't read it already. So we'll talk about that on the Sunday show. I hope you'll check it out. If you can't check it out live on WTIC, go to ReeseOnRadio.com. It airs on Reese on Radio at the same time it airs on WTIC. I love you guys. Be good.